Gus Hansen, of course. Who's going to take home this title tonight? We will see.
Well, action on Vanessa. And look at this, short stack or not at the table. She's going to raise it up with an ace-deuce offsuit.
120 to go, and Soy Win looking down at an ace-7 of clubs.
Well, he knows Vanessa is capable of raising with any two cards, so what do you do here in this situation? You got way more chips than she does. Well, I'll tell you what you do. You just raise it right back up to 300,000.
Yep, James and Lucky Chewy out, and Vanessa also mucking her hand.
So I win picking up that pot.
Vanessa, don't look like a Debbie Downer.
You can almost see the steam starting to rise off Vanessa Selbst's head. She is a player that wears her emotions on her sleeve. We saw that when she played at a WPT final table in the ladies event. Came down to heads up against her and Nancy Todd Tyner, and Vanessa obviously felt like she was the way better player. She didn't win, and you could see emotions coming out then. And right now, she looks a little frustrated to me.
Well, that could be the only knock against Vanessa's game, is she just gets too emotional and it distracts from a good game.
In 10 seasons of the WPT, we've watched players grow up before our eyes. Now, a decade ago, Daniel Negreanu had the name Kid Poker. Today, Daniel's no longer a kid, but retains his enthusiasm for the game, and he is not afraid to speak his mind, as I found out in this edition of 5 Questions. Doyle Brunson, he's been quoted saying, poker tournaments are like a lottery. The pros are just given more tickets. How do you feel about that?
To echo Doyle's point, the best players are going to just have more opportunities to get deep because they're not going to make as many mistakes early. Having said that, the difference between the guys who really rise are the ones who, when all is on the line, when the adrenaline's pumping, and it's like really crunch time at the final table or the last 2 tables, some people crack under that pressure and other people elevate their game. I call. That's not something that you can really teach, and it comes with experience. Some people just have it and some people don't. Some people are winners, some people are losers. Sucks to say, but it's true.
What is your favorite WPT moment?
Give me a moment. I've had so many good moments on the WPT that I would have to say my favorite moment was when I won the Borgata, because it was such a tough field. It was very competitive, and I think everybody wanted it so bad. So to come out on top, and it was my first $1 million win.
Daniel Negreanu is our champion.
And it led to more success because maybe a month and a half later, I won the WPT at Bellagio
Daniel Negreanu has done it.
for $1.8 million.
Back in season 8, Carlos Mortensen passed you on the WPT all-time money earnings list. Is that still a big deal to you? I mean, do you want to hold all the records?
Yeah, that was a bittersweet day. Carlos is a friend of mine.
Carlos Mortensen has done it. He has become the all-time money leader on the World Poker Tour.
A little part of me was like, ugh. But, you know, I like that because I like to be pushed.
What kind of responsibility do big-name players like yourself have as ambassadors to the game?
That's one area I'm actually disappointed in a lot of the poker players. I think that as a community, if you have a voice, you should speak up when things are not going right. And I think we're wussies a lot of the time. You know, when there's issues like Black Friday, or there's other issues where organizations were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, and, you know, mum's the word by a lot of these pros. I'm not going to be muzzled. I think it's important as an ambassador for poker to speak out and to try to improve this game and make it more accessible for people that are new to it, and make it more player friendly, and also just make it better TV.
So if you did quit, what would you do?
If I quit playing poker, I would probably do some writing, because I've always enjoyed that. Do some Bikram yoga, some golf, and on the weekends be drinking at the club. You know, not much different than I'm doing right now, actually. I'm kind of living the life I wanted for the most part.
Well, Daniel Negreanu, one of the most recognized and respected players in the world, won this tournament in season 3, and second on the all-time money list on the World Poker Tour behind Carlos Mortensen.
And right now, these 4 are going after this title. Action on Soy Win, going to fold his hand, and now James Dempsey.
Well, going to raise it up here as chip leader on the button with his hand, as most players would do.
Andrew with King 8 folding, and now Vanessa with just a Jack 6 of spades also folds her hand.
At the midi.
And James is going to take down that pot.
Come on, Vanessa, do something. Needs to win.
Trying, but it's tough. They're so intimidating.
You're tough.
These guys are tough.
I don't think anyone's more intimidating at the poker table than Vanessa Selbst, especially if she's got chips. So if she gets some, these guys better duck.
All right, action going to Dempsey again. He's got a 7-3. And that just doesn't matter because he's raising it to 125 with that hand.
Andrew goes out.
Yep, Vanessa now. Oh, she's picked up a nice one. Ace queen. And she's going to ship it.
That's the kind of hand she's been waiting for to get her chips in the pot with.
There's Soy right behind her.
I'm very confident.
But he's going to lay down his ace-9. James Dempsey now, with not much of a hand, is going to fold.
So Vanessa happy to take down a pot here finally at this final table.
There's Vanessa's very good friends, the Railbirds, sitting up on top.
We'll be right back with more action from Bellagio, including Tony Dunst's no-holds-barred analysis in The Raw Deal, brought to you by ClubWPT.com, so stick around.
The World Poker Tour has always supported great charitable causes, and in 2012, we're launching the WPT Foundation.
Go to WPTFoundation.org to learn about our global charity partners and find out how you can join us in playing for a better world.
Welcome back to the WPT's coverage of the Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Our very own Tony Dunst made a deep run in this tournament, finishing in 18th place after being eliminated by current chip leader James Dempsey. My hat is off to you, Tony. And based on his experience, he probably has a thing or two to say about our remaining players in this edition of The Raw Deal.
James Dempsey isn't even supposed to be here. I'm not just saying this because he knocked me out of the tournament.
We got 18th.
And I'm not saying this because I think the Bellagio should know better than to allow citizens of the UK and their pretentious accents onto the property.
I feel like this might be my new home.
I'm saying it because James Dempsey never intended to play this tournament. He was merely supposed to stop by Vegas to transport some funds for his friend, fellow British pro Chris Moorman. But when James found out Bellagio was hosting the 5-Diamond, he decided to take his shot in the main event, and now finds himself in the chip lead at the final table. So let's break him down. I've played with James on multiple days over the course of this tournament and observed relentless pre-flop aggression, which worked with great success despite his marginal holding. And this trend has continued for him at the final table. Beyond eliminating defending champ Antonio Esfandiari in a pre-flop confrontation, James hasn't been involved in any major pots, though anyone watching the table can sense that he's the one controlling it. We see him use the edge position provides with a number of weaker holdings, and when he's out of position, he's often putting in a re-raise and follows through on flops that his opponents likely didn't connect on. What remains to be seen is whether James will manage to maintain the fine line between aggression and recklessness at this final table. Although, I'm sure even if he finds himself in a marginal situation and decides to just jam in, say a small pair because his opponent seems full of it, I'm sure he'll just win the flip.
Good luck, guys.
Well, Vince, do you sense Tony's a little bitter that this guy knocked him out of this tournament?
Just a little bit.
I'll tell you, Tony is spot on, though, in his analysis about Dempsey's play, staying aggressive, especially winning a lot of small pots by making raises with junk hands.
All right, here we go. Quick fold by Andrew. Vanessa also out, and now Soy win.
Soy with the king high, just folds in a small blind, does not want to get in a confrontation with the chip leader right now.
Hey, maybe we should make you a nickname right now so everyone knows.
Flushy. Or the doctor.
Actually?
The doctor, yeah.
I was thinking doctor something.
His name is James Dempsey, and he's saying that he has a couple of nicknames. People have called him Flushy.
Go on, the doctor.
And the Doctor. I don't get either
Usual
one,
count,
actually, at this point, but what do you want to call him?
Bare chest.
Okay, that's just as bad as Flushy. All right, action back on Vanessa Selbst. And she quickly folds this hand, and now Soy wins, going to raise with just a 9-7.
Now Dempsey going out.
Round to Lucky Chewy.
And look at this, Vince. He's not just calling with the 8-4. He is 3-betting it with the 8-4 diamonds here.
Makes it 400,000 to go. But Soy, he's going to speculate. So we got 8-4 up against 9-7 for good money. And here's the flop.
Ace, king, 5. No help to either player. And here comes Lucky Chewy And it just shows you, folks, how powerful aggression is when you're playing no limit hold'em poker.
525,000 into Soy. Now Soy's saying to himself, I don't have any of that. But does he? I feel like I'm getting my pocket picked here, but what can I do about it?
The only way he's going to win this pot is to raise it, but not going to do it. So the power of the 3-bet in perfect form for Lucky Chewy here at this final table thus far.
That is right, Lucky Chewy. This is Tony Dunce's roommate. Looking pretty good here tonight.
Dodging bullets, baby.
I guess. Whenever I'm asked if I have any strategy, I always say no. I play my game and then try to just take the situations as they come to me and just make the best decisions possible. Last season I got 8th in this tournament. It was a little disappointing. Flop came bad for me, so what can you do? You can play for 5 days and then come so close to the TV final table and all the money and then just like fall a little bit short of it. But hey, here I am, back at it again, so no complaints. I don't know how many times people get a second shot. It just kind of happens, I guess.
Well, Lucky Chewy is the 3rd player from the Season 9 Ones to Watch who has made it to a WPT final table.
And last season, of course, William Reynolds and Alan Berry both made WPT final tables. And Phil Collins making a World Series of Poker main event final table in 5th place.
Well, certainly these Ones to Watch are very talented players, and they're starting to prove it worldwide in tournament poker.
To the felt we go. Soy with a quick fold. Now James Dempsey with Motown hand, Jackson 5.
That's good enough for him to raise with.
And he has raised to 125. Now Andrew right behind him with a pair of 3s. He's going to re-raise, 425 to go.
You can see Lucky Chewy is not a caller. He is a 3-better when he comes in the pot.
Into Vanessa. Well, she's picked up an ace-10.
I'm all in.
What a play by Vanessa here. This pot has been raised and re-raised, yet she's still got the moxie to move all in here.
Dempsey out.
Pretty sure we're going to gamble.
And Andrew now saying, well, how much more?
Chewy was it bluffing?
It's going to cost him about another 700,000, so he's getting about 2.5 to 1 odds on his money.
135.
Well, he knows the worst he could be is 4.5 to 1 underdog if her opponent's got an overpair, but...
I will call.
Oh, yeah, he is going to make the call.
Well, he is just hoping she's got ace-king where he's in a race situation. She doesn't have ace-king, she does have ace-10, and probably trying to figure out, wow.
There's a pair.
Couldn't you lay that hand down, just let me have it? Oh, well, let's race for the dough now.
GL.
Look.
I folded 2 10s.
So Vanessa Selbst's tournament life on the line here. Must win this race to stay alive.
This is poker. Here's the flop.
So Vanessa's tournament life is at stake here.
Well, it's come 6, 6, 8. Now that means if an 8 comes up, Vanessa would take the lead with 8s and 6s and an ace kicker. So Vanessa right now looking for an ace, a 10, or an 8.
An 8 would work as well.
She got an ace, comes right off.
But wait a second, a club here.
Clubs.
So in addition to a 3, Lucky Chewy can also catch a club and win this pot.
Yo, can I borrow some of that flush power?
So any 3 and any club is what Andrew is looking for right now to eliminate Vanessa from this tournament.
Down to the river, here it is.
It's the king of hearts. So there you go, the first big break for Vanessa Selbst at this final table. She pumps the fist, gives a nod to her friends and says, we're on our way.
Really?
Well, she's more than double up by winning that pot. She has just that quickly become a real force at this final table.
That's right. The miss at the table stays alive. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action on the WPT.
Want to improve your game? As a Club WPT VIP, you get exclusive access to past WPT episodes and the chance to win your share of more than $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Bellagio attracts the best and the brightest players in the world, so it was no surprise to see a number of our Season 10 Ones to Watch players put up the money and fight for this title. How they did is all in this week's Ones to Watch.
I love to grind, sick degenerate.
I made it to the final table.
I'm a ones to watch, so that should be interesting.
No. I think this year is my year.
I'll win one eventually.
Ones to watch. Back at work, day 1 of 5 Diamond. Gonna crush it, hopefully.
Day 1 of the WPT Bellagio 10K, and great field. Should be a fun day.
I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to win one of these finally.
All right, this is my first hand no limit hold'em in over a month.
So far, things aren't going so well.
Lost half of my stack already. What's up? Only me.
A poker career is very difficult. I think a lot of people don't understand like what goes into it.
It's really hard to put forth the amount of time and energy and effort that you need to become a professional.
And there's a lot of grinding, and sometimes it's not so glamorous.
With poker, you're experiencing a lot of failure. You only win a tournament 1% of the time, less than 1% of the time.
I've come close a lot of times, which, keeps you going a little bit.
You have to never be willing to give up.
Sometimes it can be very hard to continue trying your best when you know sometimes it's just not going to work out.
But then when you do hit, when you do make that WPT final table and you're on that stage and all of the lights are on you, your dad's in the crowd, your friends are at home watching you, then that's what makes all of those failures really worthwhile.
Just really wasn't my day. I think I would have busted regardless,
Yeah, I'm obviously disappointed to be out of this great event, but as they say, that's poker.
No, this one didn't work out at all for me.
Yeah, that's a little short stack, a little shorty I got here. Never stopped me before, so.
We both have a lot of chips. Our penthouse has all the chips.
I think as the levels in the tournament moves on, you get different rushes. When you're on the money bubble, obviously that's a bit of a rush.
Turning a profit in Las Vegas, that's the real goal.
And once you're in the money, you're looking for the final table.
This is only my second day for it, and I'm 1 for 1 for making WPT final tables when I make a day for it. So, keep the streak alive.
I'm gonna keep bringing the pain, and they're gonna realize that I am a strong contender.
That'll wrap it up. 13th place. Good game.
Well, the ones to watch really had a good showing here at the 5 Diamond, with roommates William Reynolds finishing in 13th place and Matt Marifiotti in 15th place. We certainly hope to see more deep finishes from the ones to watch as the season progresses. But for now, let's get back to the action with Mike and Vince.
Well, the ones to watch, certainly very talented young poker players, but here's the 4 players remaining in this tournament. And as you can see, James Dempsey still out in front with just under $6 million in chips. So we win in second place with $5.3 million. Lucky Chewy in third place with $2.7 million. And Vanessa Selbst with $2.4 million. But Vince, they've all got chips. It's anybody's game.
That is right. And James Dempsey from Brighton, England, 29 years old. First time ever at a WPT tournament. Shining right now. Yeah, he's going to raise with an ace-6. Andrew out. Vanessa also folding.
Well, Soy's going to make the call here with a 10-5 of spade. Now, the problem is if he fans on this flop, he's basically just going to give up the pot.
Here we go with the flop. King deuce deuce helps neither player. Action's on Soy.
And he's going to check.
And now Dempsey, will he make the continuation bet with just ace high? Yes, he does.
Now, the texture of this flop, Vince, is one that it's a great time to check raise if you're Soy in this spot, because if your opponent doesn't have a king in his hand, he just can't continue to call you. Even if he's got 2 9s or 2 8s, he's probably got to throw the hand away. So a missed opportunity by Soy there, I think.
Well, there's Danielle and Ivy. Brittany, of course, talking to strangers at the Royal Flush Girls social bar.
Oh, boy.
It is fun.
It's like CupidMatch.com out here now.
All right. Blinds are going up to 40 and 80,000. Quick fold by Lucky Chewy. And now Vanessa Selbst, tough 27-year-old out of Vegas, is going to raise with a king 10 of clubs. Soy going to take a breather, and James looking tired, folds.
Yeah, most everybody would raise on the button with that hand. She's doing it, and she picks up the pot because of it. She's 27. She's made $4.4 million in live tournaments around the world. Just incredible. And yet she's opted to go back to Yale Law School to get her law degree. You have to respect somebody like that.
All right, this time Vanessa first to play. She has an 8-5 of clubs. Quickly rejects her hand, and now Soy win with a real hand. Pair of 9s.
Big hand on the button for Soy here.
And he's getting out the raising chips, of course. Blinds are 40 and 80,000. He makes it 160.
And look at this. James with just an ace-3 offsuit is going to 3-bet it up to 450,000.
He certainly is. Now Lucky Chewy looks at a pair of 8s here. And that's also a good hand, but now it's been raised and re-raised. Now what do you do?
Well, tough to play these mid pairs when it's been raised and re-raised in front of you. But he knows how aggressive James plays.
Falling.
Whoa.
He makes an all-in bet. And with that all-in bet, he has put tremendous pressure on Soy Win right here with 2 9s.
You were talking about a huge pot in the making, and this is not an easy call, not auto call at all.
Are you kidding me? I think it's such a tough call. It's unbelievable because you've still got the chip leader sitting behind you who also raised this pot.
Of course, we know how aggressive these guys have been tonight, raising with just junk hands.
I call.
And he's going to make the call of the night.
I'm all out.
Dempsey goes out, and what a call it is. It's 2 9s versus 2 8s.
And Soy is feeling good. Soy's feeling saucy as he gets it from the table.
Never binked on TV before.
Soy win, lose, or draw here. He was in a tough spot with that middle pair. Made the call with the 2 9s, has his opponent dominated. Not only dominated, Vince, has the same suits, meaning his opponent can't make a flush to win the pot.
I don't like the suit domination business.
If it helps, I folded a diamond and a heart.
Oh, nice.
You hit, you've got like, you know.
0.02% more.
It makes a little difference, right?
Soy win with a big chance right now to become a massive chip leader.
Hey, you should read Russell's autobiographies.
Oh, it's gonna be hilarious.
Talks about like his rise through like life, basically, and in the first book, and the second book is like his rise through fame. It's just like totally different.
I like how you're talking about Russell Brand's book.
I mean, what can I do?
I like that.
Might as well lighten the mood.
How can one stay so calm and talk about books at a time like this?
Lucky Chewy going to have to get very lucky here, Vince, to stay alive.
He looks very relaxed, like he's going to suck out here. Here we go with the first 3, and the flop comes queen, 6-4. No luck for Lucky Chewy.
Now, Lucky Chewy could hit a 5 and a 7 and make a straight, but they're going to have dramatic help to win this pot.
I like that 7.
All right, turn card coming up. It's a queen of spades.
Lucky Chewy must catch a black 8, otherwise he's going to be out in 4th place.
The soy sauce is ready to be put on the Lucky Chewy. He can push him right out of here.
Got one out. Vanessa fold the 8 of clubs.
Can Lucky Chewy do it? No.
Nope, it's a jack. So that's going to do it. Andrew Lichtenberger going to be out in 4th place. Hugs all around. Can't blame him for getting all in with the pair of 8s. His opponent made a tough call with the 2 9s, I can tell you that.
Very solid. Andrew, Lucky Chewy out. Going to take home $213,000. He's still smiling, and he's going over to talk to Matt Savage.
You know, for 8th place last year, 4th place this year, what's on the plan for the next WPT?
Sounds like 2nd, right? If it progresses as such.
Well, you come from the online world. You've made it a smooth transition to the live world. How do you think the differences have played out for you in this?
It's definitely a learning experience, always, you know. There's so many things different about it, like, you know, sitting across from someone, just being able to look them in the eye. It's just a whole different game, really. And, yeah, I feel like I've adapted pretty well to it, so.
Well, I'm sure we'll see you at another World Poker Tour final table.
Absolutely. Thanks.
That'll do it for Lucky Chewy. Andrew Lichtenberger, who is out in 4th place.
Who will take down this coveted Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic title?
Mike, Vince, what are your final thoughts on this evening's action?
Well, Kimberly, Soy win on top right now, obviously, but he's got 2 tough opponents to get through to take down this title. I believe James Dempsey has played the best, most aggressive poker at this final table so far, but Vanessa's just been handcuffed. She's been on the short stack most of the time at this final table, but in case she ever gets some chips, these guys better duck.
Well, you're right, Mike. But Soy Win has chips. He's been a little conservative so far, but I think his buddy Namley, who's in the audience, is going to tell him, open up your game. You can do it. Take home this title.
Well, gentlemen, the Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic at Bellagio is once again proving why it's one of the premier titles in poker. Please join us next time for more of the WPT's continuing coverage of this marquee event, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Until then, for Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten, Tony Dunst, the Royal Flush Girls, Matt Savage, and the whole WPT team, I'm Kimberly Lansing saying thanks for watching. Good night.
I don't understand what this is for here. The World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
Tonight in Las Vegas, history is in the making as our remaining players battle for big money and a coveted spot on the WPT Champions Cup. The conclusion of Season 10's coverage of the Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic starts now, only on the WPT.
Well, the crowd all standing.
He is circling the drain.
They are going bare knuckles in the center of the ring.
He needs the extreme miracle.
Oh!
we start our third hour of coverage here at Bellagio, we find ourselves after 6 days of grueling play down to just 3 players, all within reach of adding their names to the coveted WPT Champions Cup. And right now, let's bring in Poker Hall of Famer Mike Sexton and Raw Deal analyst Tony Dunst, who's sitting in for Vince Van Patten. Guys, we have 3 tremendously talented players left. Bring us up to speed.
Well, you're right, Kimberly. 3 terrific players left, all very aggressive players, and all certainly deserving to be sitting here playing for this title. Our chip leader is Soy Win, of course. In second place, James Dempsey from London. And in third place on the short stack right now is Vanessa Selbst. Now, if Vanessa had more chips, I think she'd be an easy pick to win this title. But as it is, I like James Dempsey. I played with this guy a few weeks ago in London for 7 days straight. Very impressed with his play. He's the guy I rate to beat right now.
And Tony, you played with all 3 of these players this week. How do you see this game going forward?
Yes, Kim, I did. Actually, it was James Dempsey who knocked me out on day 4, and it was the second consecutive day I'd played with him, and I had not heard of him prior to the tournament, and must say he really impressed me throughout, both in the quality of his play and his conduct. So I'm with Mike in picking him as the winner, but you know, Vanessa, despite being on the short stack, is such a relentless player, and if she can perhaps get herself in front and hold up, then she is going to become a force to be reckoned with at this final table.
Thanks, guys. Tonight, another winner will be added to the WPT Champions Cup, a cup whose first engraved name belongs to Gus Hansen, who won this very first 5-diamond 10 years ago. The action's ready to resume here tonight, so let's get back to the final table.
Well, there you see the chip count. So I went out in front with 8.2 million. James Dempsey in second with 5.4 million. Vanessa in third place right now with just under 3 million.
And as you can see, our winner will eventually take home $821,000.
As well as get that coveted entry into the WPT World Championship at Bellagio at the end of the season, which could be worth millions more to him.
Lines are 40,000, 80,000 as we return to action.
Yeah, Vanessa's going to raise with an 8-7.
Definitely a hand somebody like Vanessa is going to be raising the button with. She's not going to be passing many hands at all on the button.
Well, so it quickly folds the Queen 10. As you can see, James not going anywhere. He's got a King 9 and makes the call.
Yep, no surprise. James is aware of how aggressive Vanessa is on the button, so a hand like King 9 suddenly becomes very playable.
Now flop comes Ace 4 deuce, and it's quickly gone check, check. Now Jack of Diamonds on the turn. Dempsey checks again, but Vanessa betting this time, and is going to pick up the pot by doing so. And Vanessa Selbst staying aggressive to take down that pot. And Tony, we all know what a great poker player she is, but what I admire about her is she's made over $4.4 million already in live tournament poker, yet she opted to go back to Yale Law School to get her law degree.
People at Yale Law School are definitely very competitive by nature, in the same way that people in poker are definitely very competitive. And I think that's a personality trait that you just need to have in order to be one of the most successful people in any given field.
And all in by Vanessa.
I definitely get frustrated at times when I take a bad beat or when cards don't go my way. I hear from a lot of people that I sort of wear my heart on my sleeve, but you know, at the end of the day, I give beats, I take beats, you know, it all sort of evens out. And so I would say there's justice in poker.
Now, which do you think is more frightening, Mike? Vanessa Selbst, the poker player, or Vanessa Selbst, the lawyer?
What are you guys doing when you win tonight?
Studying?
You finished school now, haven't you?
Nah, I'm taking finals soon, then I'll be done.
If you want to go and study now, you can.
And I guarantee you one thing, every poker player, man or woman, fears himself when they're at the table with Vanessa Selbst, because she will make you shake in your boots.
Absolutely. She is a player who consistently puts you in just awful and difficult situations. I think she is one of the people in the poker world I least like to see across from me on the table.
Well, you're not alone. Here she raises out of the small blind with Queen 7 offsuit. So he looks down at a King Jack. He knows how aggressive she is. What does he do now?
Started the hand with like 2.3.
2.9.
It's the kind of hand that some people like to see a flop with. Sometimes they like to pump it up pre-flop and just take down the pot there. Soy raises it up, and that was all that was necessary to get Vanessa to throw Queen High away.
Well, she just threw it away, and so he picks up the pot. Action on Vanessa again. She's on the button here. Looks down at a King 9. So Vanessa staying aggressive, raising for the third consecutive pot here. Soy Win is folded. Well, true to form, James Dempsey is 3-bet here with an ace-9 offsuit.
I'm all in.
Well, Vanessa Selbst quickly moves all in.
Okay, cool.
And a quick call by James Dempsey with just an ace-9.
That's a very impressive play by James Dempsey. He clearly 3-bet there with the intention of calling a shove from Vanessa. And it's a very impressive play by Vanessa. It's that kind of aggressive, relentless action that puts her in these final table situations.
Well, she's got so much heart, she just moved in with that hand, and she was a little stunned, I think, that he made a snap call with the ace-9.
How do you have the 9? That's what gets me deep inside.
What's that?
So that's what really hurts me. How do you have the 9?
Well, emotionally distraught right now is Vanessa, as you can see by the look on her face. She has dominated. It's ace-9 versus king-9.
Ace in your face! That's right. She's in dire straits here. She's going to need a lot of help if she wants to stay in this tournament. Let's see if she can get it.
Flop 6-5 forward.
She's in pretty bad shape on this flop here. She's going to need a king or perhaps a runner 7-8 just to get a chop.
7-8? All right.
Vanessa has the same idea I do.
Well, she would love it. Everybody holding their breath here. So ace of clubs on the turn. Vanessa is growing dead. She is going to be out in third place just that quick.
Well, it was a great call by James Dempsey with the ace-9 there, and that ace on the turn does end Vanessa's tournament.
Okay, yep.
Vanessa going to pick up $338,000 for her third place finish, and she's going to step off the tournament table and have a word with Matt Savage.
There's been a lot of talk about best woman player, but obviously you're one of the best players. What does that mean to you to be the best woman player?
I mean, I don't know who the best player. I mean, it's so hard to tell. You know, I've been on a really good run, and I've been playing my best game. So I'm just happy to keep it up. I'm happy to be able to represent for the women out there, and hopefully we'll see some more women up and coming soon.
All right, continued success.
Thanks so much.
All right, Kimberly, back to you.
Well, hopefully we'll see Vanessa back at a WPT final table in the near future. Heads Up Action is about to get underway as our third hour of coverage from Bellagio
is just getting started, and we have more to come, including a new edition of the Season 10 Ones to Watch. And we relive the first ever WPT victory in the Champions Cup moment when we return on the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com.
Season 10 of the World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com, where VIP members can win their share of $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
As is the custom on the World Poker Tour, when we get down to Heads Up Play, we have our money presentation. So show us the money!
Well, there are the Royal Flush Girls being led by Ivy, followed by Brittany, then Angelique and Danielle rounding out the pack.
And all the beautiful cash being put on the table that these two guys are going to chop up.
It just seems like endless supply of tray after tray of $100 bills.
Well, the winner going to take home over $820,000, but just as important to a poker player, you're going to get your name engraved on the WPT Champions Cup. That's something that you dream about as a poker player.
Absolutely. It's a piece of immortality in the poker world.
James Dempsey incredibly playing in his first ever WPT event. Soy Win looking to capture his first title as well. He's played 6 tournaments.
Heads Up Action at Bellagio is about to get underway between James Dempsey and Soy Win. Now, during the break, Matt Savage had a chance to speak with both players.
Winning this tournament, would it give you the respect that you deserve in the poker community?
I would sure hope so. I mean, I don't think there's anything else I can do. I got one more person to go, so hopefully, you know, I cross that finish line first.
What would it mean to put your name on the WPT Championships Cup?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. first try getting on there would be pretty nice. But yeah, let's join. A good friend of mine, Jake Cody's on there, so it'd be nice to join him on there.
Well, you could be 1 for 1 on the World Poker Tour, so it looks like you're going to be back to stay.
Yeah, I'll definitely be playing the next one.
All right, thanks a lot, James. Kimberly, back to you.
The WPT Champions Cup is primed for a new edition, so let's get back to the call of the Heads Up Action with Mike and Tony.
Well, as we start Heads Up Play, you can see James Dempsey out in front with $8.7 million. Soy Win starting with $7.7 million.
I gotta say, I'm kind of rooting for both these guys. They come off so pleasant and modest and humorous. It'd be good to see either of them win.
No question about it. We're going to have a great champion, whoever wins. And pretty close to even in chip count, so this is going to be an interesting battle.
Raise.
And there you see Soy raising on the button with just an 8-4, and James calling with a 10-6. So these guys are here to play.
Yep, Soy abstaining from the min raise. He's going with the 2.5x.
A lot of the younger pros like James normally sticking with the min-raise heads up.
Jack 9-3, no help to either player. Dempsey checks. Soy making the continuation bet.
James is going to take the lead in this hand and go for a check raise. My guess is with the intention of following through on a lot of cards on the turn to give him more outs.
Well, Dempsey's showing a lot of heart here. Check raising with no hand and no draw to take down that pot. And you got to admire the way this heads-up battle has started. Both players very aggressive, fighting for the pot.
Absolutely. Very cool play by James Dempsey there. And there's a look at our Player of the Year standings. And as you can tell, it's a very international list of players we have here.
Well, Will the Thrill Viella from New York out in front, however, with 1,650 points. But whichever of these players win will vault into third place with 1,400 points in the Player of the Year standing. All right, action back on Soy. Looks down at the two ducks. Two deuces on the button.
Great.
So why not bet 200,000 with two deuces?
Making his usual raise, and James finds a very playable Queen 8 suited out of the big.
Makes the call, so we're going to have a flop here. Now flop is King, Queen 7 with two clubs. Dempsey with the best hand with two queens. He checks. Soy checks the two deuces right behind him. No continuation bet this time. And a deuce on the turn.
Wow, lightning in a bottle on the turn for Soy, and it's going to be so hard for James to tell that Soy has a big hand. He thinks, you know, if he had a flush draw, he'd bet it on the flop.
James leads out and bets two queens, and I would too if I was in this spot. But he's getting raised right here. 600,000 to go. And as you can see, this is going to be puzzling to him. He's going to say, how could the guy slow play a flush draw? You know, I might have had a pair.
Exactly. Did he check back a king on the flop, and now he's making this small little raise on the turn? It doesn't really add up to him, and it might make it very difficult to get away. It does appear he's going to be putting the necessary chips in.
Making what we call a curiosity call here. Just can't figure out what the guy had. Wouldn't he have bet a flush draw on the flop or one of those big pairs?
Oh.
What's going on here? Now an 8 comes off.
Oh, that is going to cost James some money.
Well, it might cost him some money. Let's see what happens here. He's made two pair, queens and 8s. And he's checked it, and you can see Soy reaching out for some betting chips here. He's got the three deuces.
Soy does indeed fire 730,000 on this river.
With the look on James Dempsey's face, you know he doesn't have a flush, sitting there shaking his head. So now you want to get paid off if you got the three ducks.
So rare that you have two pair in a heads-up poker game and you're not pleased to call the river bet.
Well, he just can't figure it out the way this hand was played. How could the guy check the flop? Well, Dempsey is going to make the call, but he is not going to like it.
A set of deuces.
You can see that look on James' face, like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, at least the pieces of the puzzle were put together by James Dempsey after he saw Soy Wynn's hand. But in the meantime, with that pot, Soy Wynn has now vaulted to the chip lead in this heads-up battle. There you can see it. He's got over 9 million in chips. Dempsey down to 7.4 million.
Playing pretty deep stack poker here, almost 100 blinds effective in this heads-up match.
Well, James Dempsey got the Jack 7 offsuit, the 7-11 as we call it, and he's going to raise it with that. Makes it 200,000 to go. And Soy feeling his oats right now, calling the raise with a 10-6 offsuit out of position. It's come Queen 6 deuce, all clubs. So Soy checks the 2 6s. And James going to make the continuation bet.
Yep, James is going to fire 250,000, a little more than a half pot. But with that pair, Soy's not going anywhere.
Well, Dempsey does not like what he sees here when he gets called on this flop. He knows there's no way he's got the best hand or the best draw, one or the other. And look at this, the board pairs deuces, and here comes Soy leading right out and betting, just like he knows Dempsey's got a flush draw.
And I think he's probably concerned that Dempsey is going to check back with some of his medium flush draws, giving him a free chance to draw out.
Dempsey does lay down the hand. A nice bet on the turn wins the pot for Soy.
It's one of those difficult spots where if James doesn't have a pair or a very, very strong club draw, hard to justify continuing in the hand, even if you feel like this is a very strange way for Soy to play his.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to give it up and move on to the next hand.
When I made the November 9, I read a lot of articles, and everybody was just thinking it was bad for poker for somebody like myself who had very limited experience in poker to come in, and that term is luck box to make it to the final table. So I mean, it hit home. So I was determined to play better. That's the most important thing about poker is the mindset not to give up.
Well, I like the motto, never give up when you're playing poker or doing anything else for that matter. Soy Win going for his first WPT title tonight. He's out in front right now.
He's been out in front for much of this final table and much of this tournament as far as getting to the late stages is concerned, and he really does seem just kind of calm and comfortable with the whole situation and the pressure of it all.
Well, Dempsey raised on the button with 2 sevens. Ironically, Soy's got the exact same hand, a pair of sevens. It'll be interesting to see how this hand plays out. Well, there you see the raise up to 580,000 by Soy, but Dempsey's going to go nowhere here with the 2 sevens. He's certainly going to see a flop.
And this could be one of those pots where the guy who shows the most aggression post-flop is the one to take it down, especially if it comes out in an awkward texture such as King, Queen, 3.
Well, obviously not a flop either player's happy with because there's 2 overcards out there. So we're going to lead out for 570,000.
And James clearly doesn't like this flop either. Not sure what he... Oh, wow. He's going to make a raise to 1.25 million.
Which is it?
And Soy can't possibly like this. Now he wants to know how many chips James Dempsey has got and how much it is to call here, but it's hard to believe he could keep playing this hand with 2 sevens.
Dempsey also turning his pair of sevens into a bluff. And look at this!
Soy Win is coming back over the top for 2.1 million. Just incredible poker. I mean, both these players fighting for this pot, making incredible raises in my opinion.
Nobody wants to stop bluffing with their sevens, and Soy's 3-bet is going to take it down here.
Well, there you see Chino Rima, WPT champion.
That one was for you, Chino.
And he'd really be clapping if he knew what he had there.
Heads-up action here is just getting started, so stay tuned, and we'll have more World Poker Tour.
Here at Bellagio, the 5-diamond experience, it's across the entire property.
The Bellagio is an amazing resort. It's just a great feeling, great energy.
We've got the #1 venue for poker in Las Vegas. For those individuals that want to enjoy a dining experience in our poker room, you can actually get from one of the 5-diamond restaurants. We can order from Picasso. We can order from Le Cirque.
The restaurants are great. They take care of you. There's some good food here at the Bellagio. Cheers.
Great experience, great customer service is something that's going to keep you coming back to Bellagio time and time again.
Well, the Bellagio is certainly the Yankee Stadium of poker. Players from around the world love it here. And if you're just tuning in, I'm being joined in the booth by Tony Dunst, who's filling in for Vince Van Patten, who wasn't feeling too well. Tony, great to have you here.
Pleasure to be here, Mike, especially for such a thrilling heads-up match. We have seen fireworks thus far. Seeing the same thing in this hand, James opens the button with the Queen Jack of Diamonds, and Soy makes it 700,000 out of the big with the Jack 8 of Hearts.
Well, James has him dominated, but doesn't know it. He makes the call, though. With the Queen Jack of Diamonds, flop comes 6-5-4 with 2 hearts. Soy has flopped a flush draw and a gut shot straight draw.
James had Soy pre-flop, but clearly this flop much better for Soy's hand.
830,000 to bet.
James with the hand on the head again.
This time it's the left hand instead of the right, though. He switched thinking positions.
Well, if James decides to make some kind of move on this flop, we know that the trap is going to snap shut. The Soy Win's not going anywhere.
Nope. I believe he'd play for all his dough with this straight draw and flush draw. But James Dempsey goes out of the pot.
Soy takes it down again.
Well, Soy's buddies cheering him on now as everything seemingly going his way right now.
Well, right now, Matt Savage is at the Royal Flush Girls Social Bar with Season 7 5-diamond champion, Chino Ream.
We're here with the former winner of this event, Chino Ream. What was it like to win this event, and where does it rank in your memory?
To win the event, it was awesome because it was like my first big major event win. So the WPT 5-diamond was definitely my baby. So
yeah. I know you're here supporting Soy. Did you give him any advice in the break?
I told him just keep playing exactly the way he's playing. He's playing great, obviously, as you can see. And I told him just don't give anything away. Don't do anything goofy. That's our golden rule. Like, don't give the chips away. He's playing straight. He doesn't have to do anything. He's in his zone.
He's not a normal poker player. He's a worker.
He's a worker. And
are you gonna tell him to quit his job?
I'm gonna tell him to keep his job because, you know, as anyone in poker knows, there's, you know, you always have your highs and your lows, and there's swings. And for him, he has a very well-paying, steady, normal job. And if you can win poker tournaments, especially WPTs on the side, there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, Chino, thanks a lot.
You got it.
Well, Chino reamed there, but I disagree with what he said a little bit, Tony, in that he thinks Soy should play the same way. Well, at the beginning of this final table, Soy very conservative. In this heads-up battle, he's gotten very aggressive, and it's working well for him.
Absolutely. Everything is going to Soy Wynn's favor in this period of the final table.
Well, here he's going to raise it with the ace-3 of spade, makes it $250,000 to go. And Dempsey with a similar hand, ace-2 of hearts, is going to make the call.
Yet again, both players with very similar holdings.
Now flop comes queen 4-3. So Dempsey has a straight draw, but Soy has the best hand now with bottom pair. So we're going to bet $300,000 after Dempsey checks. Dempsey's going to make the call with the gut shot straight draw.
Dempsey knows that not only does he have outs if he's behind, but his ace high might actually be good.
Well, 9 of diamonds on the turn. Dempsey checks. So Soy checks right behind him here.
Oh, and Soy just lightning in a bottle every hand, trips on the river.
He's made 3 threes here, so Dempsey's going to check. Soy obviously going to bet now.
And Dempsey could become convinced that he has the best hand here with ace high. Could perhaps imagine that Soy had a flush draw or...
Well, he knows if Soy had an ace high, he's going to check it down just in hopes to win the pot here, maybe even a king high. So he might put him on something like 6-7 or something like that, but he's going to pay him off here with the ace high, and it's not going to work as Soy shows him 3 threes.
Exactly what happened, and I don't really fault James for his call.
No, you can't fault him. You just see everything is going Soy's way right now.
Las Vegas is home to a number of professional poker players, and this week we had a chance to see exactly what the true Las Vegas lifestyle is all about in this edition of Ones to Watch.
I love the grind. I'm a sick degenerate.
I made it to the final table.
I'm a Ones to Watch, so that should be interesting.
No. I think this year is my year.
I'll win one eventually. Ones to Watch.
Yeah. Hello, WPT Ones to Watch. Welcome to my humble abode, aka my 6,000 square foot penthouse on the Strip.
Matt Marifiotti.
The man, the myth.
One of the most interesting and unique individuals I've ever spent time with. He's very loud, very vocal. He does not care at all what people think of him.
I annoy the out of people. I mean, I guess comes with the territory.
I think he's very complex.
Because literally, I just tell people how it is.
My mom has a PhD in psychology, and I'm sure she'd love to sit down with Matt for a couple hours.
If you don't have haters, then maybe you're not that important.
He's not getting hated on, and he's not trying hard enough.
For all the haters.
He is an extremely good cash game player.
He just thrives with poker.
The reason I play poker is I wanted fast, easy money. And that's what poker was to me.
He was like one of my first poker idols where I was moving up the ranks, like at $1, $2. Matt was crushing 25, 50.
I've obviously made within the millions, profited within the millions from poker. It's allowed me to do things that I never thought I would be able to do, like purchase a home, drive the nicest cars.
Matt Merrill loves the finer things in life.
You know, if I can buy it, I'm gonna buy it.
Because Matt has made his presence known in every high-end boutique in any city he's visited.
Dolce, Burberry, Dolce.
He loves to be able to rock the nice stuff.
Gucci, Xenia, Louis, Armani. You get it.
Strolls around like, you know, cash falling out of his pockets.
If I had that kind of money, I would definitely do what they do. I think it's an awesome lifestyle.
Hey, I like my filet mignon, my lobster.
He knows what he likes, he goes and gets it.
Let me rub the belly for good luck. That's for good luck. 5 diamond. Oh, I'm gonna run so good tomorrow. But, you know, beneath all that flash, he's a really good guy, and he really does have a good heart.
He's actually a really nice kid. I like him a lot.
Because I never know what he's gonna do or say, but it's always gonna be from his heart.
I like this guy so much.
At the end of the day, I like to think that I kind of stand up to what I say I'm gonna do.
That's what I like most about Matt Marifiotti.
If you don't know him, you're missing out because, like I said, you definitely don't know anybody else in the world that's anything like Matt.
Get out! Now! No, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually that mean.
Well, I am friends with a number of our Ones to Watch, Matt Marifiotti included, and I can tell you that he's actually used that baton to threaten his roommates before.
Well, there you see Soy win with over 13 million in chips. James Dempsey down to just 3 million in chips.
The price of poker has gone up. We are playing 60,000, 120,000 with a 20,000 ante.
Well, I should add that Matt and William Reynolds both cashed for over 39,000 in this tournament, so these guys can play.
Definitely. Excellent players in their own rights.
Meantime, Soy has raised it to 260,000 here on the button with the ace-9 offsuit. James moving over the top, all in with the ace-queen of spades. You can't blame him for that.
No surprise there.
Call.
And Soy makes the call. Dempsey in great shape to double up here.
Dempsey is actually holding the hand that I held when he knocked me out, holding a pair of fours.
You can't fault Soy, I don't think, for making that call. He can well afford to make it. He knows that his opponent doesn't have to have ace-queen in that spot. He could be racing. His opponent could have 2-7. In the meantime, if he wins this hand, he'll be our champion. All his buddies rooting for him. Let's see what happens.
I like the call by Soy. It's just something of a pre-flop cooler in a heads-up match, especially when you're facing somebody as aggressive as James.
Well, here comes the flop. Well, it's ace-king-jack. So right there, James Dempsey out in front now because his kicker is higher.
Now, Soy has some opportunities to chop here if they were to see a jack on the turn, or perhaps if that 6 is the pair on the river. Otherwise, James is going to double up.
So we're down to the river. Soy needs to catch a 9 to end the tournament right here.
Deuce a heart. Deuce.
It's an ace on the river. James Dempsey has done it. He has doubled up.
Soy looks so dejected.
Well, Tony, that was the hand James has been waiting for, and all of a sudden, you see the pep in his step.
That's how you play a screen, Sawyer. That's how you play a screen.
So I'm told.
I promised James I'd say it all night long. James Dempsey, bingo, bango, bongo, he takes down the pot.
Just can't pass up the opportunity to needle, can he?
You gotta love these Brits, I'll tell you what. They understand good poker commentary. They recognize it.
And look at this. James' good friend and mentor, Chris Moorman, has showed up out of nowhere. My understanding is he was in the United Kingdom.
Well, Chris, a very popular English high-stakes poker player. He gives his buddy an embrace. He's come to cheer him on in the final. Great to see.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more World Poker Tour.
When you become a Club WPT VIP, you get exclusive access to our past episodes and your chance to win your share of more than $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Welcome back to the WPT's coverage of Bellagio's Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic. It's all about a first-class experience here at Bellagio. And one person who got to enjoy this kind of a venue was Club WPT qualifier Andrew Campanelli.
Yeah, Andrew won his seat to this tournament by playing on ClubWPT.com. He not only got to mix it up with some of the greatest of the game, but he was also invited to attend an exclusive VIP party with WPT champs, myself, you, Vince, and the Royal Flush Girls.
The ClubWPT.com VIP member experience is awesome. So if you want to play real poker online, improve your game, and have the chance to win your share of cash and prizes every month, check out ClubWPT.com.
For only $19.95 a month, you too can become a VIP member. Enjoy great VIP benefits, play unlimited poker, and maybe find yourself winning a seat to a major WPT event just like Andrew did. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
There's our updated chip counts. Soy wins, sitting a little under 10.5 million. James Dempsey, a little over 6 million.
Well, still behind in the match, but feeling good right now after just doubling up. Soy Win, who plays poker for a hobby, but he's got a pretty good track record for poker being just a hobby.
Makes it 260,000 on the button with his ace-10 of hearts. James not going anywhere with his king-4 of spades.
Flop comes 7-4 deuce, so Dempsey out in front right now with the 2 4s. He checks. Soy making the continuation bet of 300,000.
We know that James is definitely not folding this flop.
And he's going to make the call. Well, a 4 comes off on the turn. The dream card for James Dempsey. He's made 3 4s and checks again.
Finally, it's his turn to hit trips in this heads-up match.
He was hoping his opponent didn't have an overpair before. Now he's hoping he does, but he knows he doesn't after his opponent checks on the turn. Now a king comes off, giving James Dempsey a full house. Now the question is, Tony, what do you do here? Do you check and hope your opponent bets and maybe bluffs at the pot? Or do you go ahead and bet the full house?
Very difficult to say. James knows if his opponent has a little bit of showdown value, he'll check. But if he doesn't, he'll probably take a stab at it.
James going to be thinking a little bit. Well, he does check. And Soy happy to turn it up with the ace high, hoping he might win in case his opponent had a straight draw or something.
Yep.
And he's sort of smiling as his opponent turns up a full house.
Yeah, nice try, James, he says with his eyes.
Well, he did not fall into that trap for sure. So James Dempsey takes down the pot.
Gambling. Played TV tournaments before, but this one is quite special to me in the fact that I got into poker a lot. The excitement for me was the WPT. I started watching from season 1. I used to love it, all the characters and the excitement, and Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten. And then recently I got to do commentary on a game in which Mike Sexton was playing in.
James Dempsey will be alongside me commentating for this group.
That was brilliant. If he calls here, he can bluff the river. Only like 3 weeks ago, when I was talking and I was saying, I'm coming out for this, and he said, well, make sure you get to the finals so I can return the favour, and sure enough, here I am. So.
Well, we've had 5 WPT champs from England, a couple old school guys, Dave the Devilfish Elliott, Surrender Sunar, but a good buddy of his also, a young guy, Jake Cody.
And right now, we are going to throw it over to Matt Savage, hanging out with 2 of the best pros to come out of the United Kingdom recently, Sam Trickett and Chris Moorman.
Guys, you've had a lot of success in the tournament circuit, obviously. What advice did you have for a James Dempsey out there who may not have the same exact records as you guys do?
Now he's got a stack. I would probably try and play lots of flops with him and play that small ball. Like he seems a bit stubborn on flops, so I probably won't bluff him on flops.
I heard you just flew in for this final table.
Yeah, I was in Prague playing the EPT, and my flight was on Monday, so I was going to miss this, but I changed it at the last minute. He didn't know I was coming, none of the guys knew I was coming. I'd just flown for about 15 hours and just about got here in time for heads up, almost missed it all, which would have been a bit terrible, but yeah, hopefully now he can win it and cap an epic story.
All right, well, with that double up, I'm sure he's got a chance. Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, folks, let me tell you something. Those 2 guys you just looked at are phenomenal poker players. I think Sam Trickett may be the best, certainly one of the best no-limit hold'em players in the world.
Yeah, he has had a phenomenal 12 to 18 months, winning pretty much everything that Vanessa Selbst didn't win. Price of poker has gone up.
Well, here's a case where Dempsey's raising on the button with 2 10s.
Made it 300,000, but it looks like Soy wants to play for more. He's made it 700,000.
Well, if you can look for a 4-bet here, it's just a matter of how much.
Morning.
It's an all-in bet with the 2 10s. Just didn't want to give his opponent the right price to make this call in case he just got ace high even. So he moves all in and takes down the pot.
Yeah, Soy doesn't make much of a show about folding, just knows he's not going to call and lets the hand go.
So James Dempsey moving in the right direction now. No question about it. Nodding his head a little bit here.
Feeling the groove.
As you can see, Soy went out in front with over 10 million. James has over 6.5 million. In the beginning of this heads-up match, you just sensed that Soy was holding over James. Now it seems like things are reversed a little bit. Here's Soy. Looks down at the ace-5 offsuit. Naturally, going to raise on the button with that hand. Makes it 300,000 to go.
James holding ace-jack in the big. He's getting his raising chips out. What's he want to play for?
Well, he is going to 3-bet it here. Makes it 850,000 to go.
And it does, in fact, look like Soy's going to get stubborn. He makes the call. Kind of a suspect call, Mike.
Well, I'm not crazy about it, because even if an ace comes up and your opponent bets, you're frozen. You can't really raise with the hand. Well, now the flop comes queen, 4 deuce. So Soy does flop a gut shot straight draw, but Dempsey has the best hand with the ace-jack, makes the continuation bet.
Leads out for 1 million. It's a pretty good flop for Soy, but still kind of awkward as to how he wants to go about this hand. Looks like he's just going to call.
A lot of guys might just go ahead and raise there if they're going to play in this spot with the gut shot straight draw, but he makes the call for $1 million. Now the 10 of spade comes off.
Now this is a very interesting card as it improves both players' hands.
It sure does.
Now with a little under 4 million in the pot, it's about the remainder of James' stack here. So if he bets, he's going to have to commit his entire stack.
All in.
Well, he is going all in right here, and now he is going to put pressure on Soy.
Count it.
And you can see it. He says, how much is it?
Trying to do the math in the situation. He knows his outs to the spades are good. He knows a 3 will be good for him. And he's just trying to figure out, well, is there any chance maybe I have the best hand and James is drawing 2 with something like King Jack or Jack 9, or am I just completely behind?
Well, there's sort of a cardinal rule in poker. You just hate to call your money off on a drawing hand. He knows he can't have the best hand right here. He's going to have to hit something to win this pot. But if he throws his hand away right here, Tony, he's still the chip leader in this heads-up battle. If, on the other hand, he opts to make this call and loses the pot, his opponent will have 13 million. He'll be down to 3. So big decision right now for Soy.
The room goes silent. Soy is in the tank.
Well, this could be for all the dough, folks.
All right, I call.
Oh, wow.
Well, he has made the call. Dempsey has the best hand with the ace-jack and loves it. Look at him.
Pure shock on his face to find out he's in front.
I know he has nothing, too.
Nice call with a 3-bet with ace-5 off, mate. How's he call 3-bets?
How does he call?
Well, just incredible. Everybody wondering how he could call with that hand, but he's just gambling here.
Soy looking dejected, sort of lurches over to his rail. James being mobbed by his.
Soy looking for a 3, a 5, or a spade to win this title right here, right now. Well, here comes the river card. It's a king. He's made an ace-high straight to take down this pot. James Dempsey is the new chip leader.
Crowd goes wild in Dempsey's corner. I hope they don't strangle him before he gets back to the table.
You better win this pot because I need this to pay my rent.
You live with your mum.
You know, I don't like people calling $4.6 million on an all-in bet when you're on a draw. So I did it. He paid the price for it.
No, I didn't care for the whole hand by Soy.
Sick. Nice playing with you.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour and the event that started it all, the 5 Diamond World Poker Classic. All season long, we've been revisiting the great moments of the WPT in a segment we call the WPT Champions Cup moment. And this moment is one no one saw coming.
Here we go to the river. Who's going to get lucky?
On May 31st, 2002, with hole cards and Hollywood Flash, the WPT would change the way the game was viewed.
Welcome to the debut of the World Poker Tour. We are in Las Vegas for the 5 Diamond World Poker Classic.
But it was a young backgammon champ from Denmark who this night would change the way the game was played. Combining an unrelenting attack with a cavalier style, Gus Hansen cut down his veteran opponents with any 2 cards that came his way.
Here comes Gus Hansen. He's got a queen-8 offsuit and he raises the pot.
Gus Hansen made the nut. Scotty Wynn was drawn dead after that.
Gus wins the pot. Chris Bigler becomes our 5th place finisher.
Freddie Deeb has been outdrawn. He's out of this tournament in 3rd place.
With the money on the table and just one player between him and a WPT title, the ice-blooded Dane continued to apply pressure.
I'm all in.
Until he achieved what he had set out to do.
The river is a 7. Gus Hansen has won this tournament.
Gus Hansen would go on to win 2 more WPT titles and millions in earnings around the globe, but his true legacy is the game he changed forever. A legacy immortalized on the WPT Champions Cup.
Well, that final table was certainly one to be remembered always by poker players. The first ever WPT event. Gus Hansen, probably the only unknown at that final table, became the biggest star in the history of the World Poker Tour.
And I can promise you I remember it, Mike, because I was sitting on my couch watching it.
And right now, James Dempsey taking this final table by storm. He's the big chip leader in the heads-up battle. Well, so it might come to life right now. He's got 2 jacks on the button, raise it up to 300,000. Dempsey throws away the king 3, and Tony, you know how sickening that is. You just lost a giant pot. Now you pick up a real hand, and it's the first time today your opponent hadn't given you action.
And you're just thinking, let him play back at me, and I'll be right back in this match. So deflating.
It really is. Well, now Dempsey looks down at king queen on the button.
Makes it 300,000. Soy with the king jack.
I'm all in.
Says he's all in.
Can't really blame him for going all in there.
Cool.
James immediately called.
A little while back, he had ace queen versus ace nine, won that pot. Here it's king queen versus king jack.
He's got king jack. He's got king jack. They said he's got king jack. We've got him crushed. King queen. King queen. King queen.
So here we go. This could do it right here. Can the man from England be the sixth guy from Great Britain to take down a WPT title? He's got a shot right here, right now. He is in a dominating position to do it. It's king queen versus king jack.
Right back to where you started.
Well, Soy and his crowd a little dejected right now.
James Dempsey over with his rail, which is exploding with anticipation.
A jack right on the flop. Well, it's come jack 9-6. Certainly not over by any means. James now needs to catch a queen or a 10.
Well, James is sweating the turn and river now. Let's go to the turn and see what happens.
Keep it small.
Well, it's a harmless 4 of hearts, not going to help.
Keep it small. No side.
For Dempsey to win this pot and this title right now, he must catch a 10 or a queen on the river. Soy in great shape to double up here.
Oh, it's the 10!
It's the 10, he's done it! James Dempsey has done it! He has taken down this title in his first ever WPT event.
Oh, look at Soy. You feel for the guy. He played a great tournament. He was out in front for so much in the final table, and then it just fell apart so fast.
Well, Tony, I think when he goes back and analyzes his play at this final table, he's going to realize Poland with that ace-5 for $4.6 million was his big downfall. He would have still had the lead playing heads up for the title. Instead, he got behind $13 million to $3 million.
Well, as James Dempsey celebrates with his friends, we're going to go over to Matt Savage, who's having a word with our second place finisher, Soy Win.
Kind of a tough one. You had all those chips, but I think you finally got the respect you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I'm going to try to put pressure on him, and when he shipped it, I ace high and heads up. Ace high is a pretty good hand. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough.
Well, congratulations on a great finish here. I'm sure we'll see you at another World Poker Tour final table. Mike, over to you.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You're now the 6th guy from England that's won a WPT title. I know you're feeling very good about that. You guys are very proud of your poker there. The results that you guys have had the last few years playing poker tournaments around the world has been astronomical. So I know you're happy to put your name on that WPT Champions Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, like I said, I've never played one before. I started playing poker watching you and Vince do the commentary on these, and now here I am winning one. It's just, well, it's just amazing.
Well, I'm now going to give you your favorite slogan on the World Poker Tour. Bingo, bango, bongo. You've taken down the title. Kimberly, back to you.
Congratulations to James Dempsey, the Season 10 Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic champion here at Bellagio. I'll be taking a little time away from the anchor desk, but rest assured I will return, and I leave you in capable hands. So please join us next time as the World Poker Tour travels to Italy for WPT Venice. On behalf of Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten, Tony Dunst, Matt Savage, the Royal Flush Girls, and the whole WPT team, I'm Kimberly Lansing saying thanks for watching. Good night.
Bango, bongo. Bingo, bango, bongo. I don't understand what this is for here. The World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
The beautiful city of Venice has seen its share of triumph and heartache over the centuries, and tonight we promise more of the same. Who will survive a high-stakes battle to become the champion of the Venice Grand Prix? Find out tonight only on the WPT.
Well, the crowd all standing.
He is circling the drain.
They are going bare knuckles in the center of the ring.
He would love to knock this loudmouth out.
Buonasera, everyone, and welcome to Venice, Italy for the 6th televised stop on WPT's historic 10th season. I'm Marianella Pereira, sitting in for Kimberly Lansing, who is away on maternity leave. At a recent WPT tournament, we saw Englishman James Dempsey bank the title in Las Vegas, and tonight yet another European will write his name on the Champions Cup here on the banks of the famous Grand Canal in the Casino di Venezia. Right now, if we turn to two men who who literally taught the world how the game is played. Hall of Famer Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Well, Marinella, on behalf of Vince, myself, and everyone at the WPT, we are thrilled to have you with us, filling in for Kimberly. I mean, you really know poker, you're fun, and you're so good at what you do. And in addition to that, you really saved Vince and I this week as we toured around Venice because you speak Italian.
Grazie, Mike. I am honored to join the WPT team. Kim will return, but in the meantime, it's a pleasure for me to be able to work with you two. And yes, I do speak Italian. So Vince, io so che ti piace molto il risotto.
I think I'll take the bolognese sauce. Thank you, Marinella. No, I don't speak Italian, so I don't understand what you said. But tonight, because we're in Italy, I'm going to speak with my hands a lot. But let's talk about this room. This is one of the oldest casinos in the world, and I think the most gorgeous. It reeks of European charm. There's been a lot of gambling going on here, and this is going to be fun tonight.
And like you said, it's all going down right here in the beautiful Casino di Venezia. It all started 4 days ago when players from all over the world arrived with one goal in sight, writing their names on the WPT Champions Cup.
Welcome to WPT Venice.
Venice, home turf, Forza Italia.
On day one, poker players from around the world descended upon the historic seaside city of Venice, Italy, to play for a WPT title in one of the oldest gaming establishments in the world, the gorgeous Casino di Venezia.
Probably the prettiest casino I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the most beautiful buildings. This casino is gorgeous.
It's amazing, isn't it? Apparently it's the oldest casino in the whole world.
I think the casino's been here since 1638. Just imagine people who've come in here and lost money and gambled money, won money.
Allow me to welcome you to Venice, Italy for the WPT event in Venice. We are thrilled to be here. Players, let's get ready. Dealers, shuffle up and deal.
One of the first to emerge as a chip leader was Italian pro Filippo Candio, who got tangled with the outspoken Norwegian Marcel Björkman early on in the day. As some players rose, others fell, like recent WPT Bellagio champion James Dempsey and reigning WPT Venice champ Alessio Isai.
I always feel kind of stupid busting on day one. Full tournament even start. That's the way it goes sometimes.
We'll try next time.
While some of the busted went looking for sights to see in the beautiful host city, other players had not yet found their way to the casino, like the infamous Tony G.
Yeah, I heard Tony G is not coming because it's scary. I don't know what happened, but I would be scared too.
Bunch of idiots here waiting for me. You couldn't send this boat earlier? I'm waiting all day for the bus. Better go and heat up and kill a man in there. They send me a water taxi instead of the bus. It's a disgrace. They're all a bunch of lunatics. Don't follow me. The whole place should be shut. Now that I'm here, I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to take everything here. I'm going to shut the place.
At the end of the day, it was former World Series of Poker main event finalist Filippo Candio comfortably at the top of the chip lead with over $227,000.
I start this day very well. I play every hand for 2 hours and I play like maniac.
Italian pro Andrea Dato was in third place with $121,700. And despite his late arrival, Tony G was able to chip up, finishing with $78,000. Good for 15th place. 89 players returned on day 2 to the Casino di Venezia. Still in contention to win a WPT title and etch their name on the WPT Champions Cup. Among the fortunate was ClubWPT.com qualifier Steve Marsh, who had flown all the way from Tennessee to compete. Minutes before play began, Vince Van Patten gave a little pep talk to his main man, Mike Sexton.
Got it to it. Come on. You're an American. We learned this game on the Mississippi. America. Come on.
Need some luck.
However, it would take more than a boost in confidence to keep from going broke as Italian poker pro Gianluca Trebbi hit an ace on the flop, holding ace-king, crushing Mike's pocket fours, as well as his hopes of making his second WPT final table.
Lost a race and I'm out. What can you do? Yeah, pretty good field, so I'm sure we're going to have a real good final table. I'm excited about watching it.
ClubWPT.com qualifier Steve Marsh finally got to play with one of his poker heroes, Tony G.
You can have a good round. Don't be afraid to lose all the chips. You want to be busted? Don't get stressed.
But unfortunately, it was short-lived as his amazing WPT journey came to an end, busting early in day 2.
I had a great time. WPT has treated me like family. Everybody's been great. And it's been an experience that I'll remember for a lifetime for sure. So I just hope this ain't the last time you guys see me.
Tony G was soon to follow as he was forced to shove a dwindling chip stack with 10-8. Gianluca Trebi called with King-Queen and claimed another victim for the day. Filippo Candio started the day as chip leader, but his dominance waned as he lost most of his stack to American Jason Wheeler. While Filippo's day one nemesis, Marcel Björkman, was proudly amassing chips, ascending to the top of the leaderboard.
It's getting there.
Play continued and the field eventually thinned out to a group of 27, including Kara Scott, who had quite a harrowing day.
It was kind of an up and down day. And I had a big double up and then another double up, and it put me up to about 100K. And won a few more pots, it was great. This last level kind of killed me a bit, though. It'd be nice to catch a good couple of spots, and then I'm right back in it.
Of the 27 remaining players, only 18 would cash, setting the stage for a tension-filled day 3. There's more extended coverage of the race to the final table here at the Casino di Venezia, brought to you by ClubWPT.com when we return.
The World Poker Tour has always supported great charitable causes, and in 2012, we're launching the WPT Foundation.
Go to WPTFoundation.org to learn about our global charity partners and find out how you can join us in playing for a better world.
Welcome back to Season 10 of the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Tonight we are coming to you from a former palace built in 1638, the Casino di Venezia. This week the casino attracted a crowd of players from around the globe, all trying to become a WPT champion, as you can see in our extended playdown coverage of the WPT Venice Grand Prix. On day 3, expectations were high as 18 players would make the money and 9 would go home empty-handed. The first to hail a water taxi on her way out of the casino was Kara Scott, whose pocket fives did not hold up to Jack 9 suited.
Bad bit, really. It's unfortunate. I was kind of excited about, maybe making a WPT final table, but I'll be back.
And close behind her was Carlos Salinas, who had cashed twice before in a WPT Venice event.
It's the third time that I played the WPT in Venice. 2 times in the morning. Okay.
As the money bubble approached, Lionel Tran seemed to be in good shape after doubling up several times, but his good fortune turned to bad and he was eliminated in 19th place. With 18 players left, the stakes were suddenly higher as the 2 final tables were no longer worried about making the money. Now they wanted the title and the trophy.
What's going on?
After a new table draw, Norwegian Marcel Björkman was sitting to the left of Andrea Dato. And the 2 clashed and almost came to blows as Marcel tried a 3-barrel bluff with 9 high and then misinterpreted Dato's slow play with 7s full of 8s as a slow roll.
Nice slow roll. Thank you. I was thinking about raising. Great clap. I was thinking about raising. Serious? Really? Makes sense, no? Dude, I want to punch you in the face right now. Are you serious? Yeah. So there is no raise here? I can't raise that's here? The sickest slow roll I've ever been faced with. Dude, just don't talk to me.
Down but not out, Marcel was still in and looking to get his chips back. Players continued to fall as James Aikenhead busted to former WPT finalist, Danish pro Simon Rounsbeck.
It's been very frustrating. I came back as one of the chip leaders. I lost the first pot I played and continued to lose every single pot the whole day. But it's a good tournament, actually. Come on, you can do it.
Unable to fight back from his clash with Dato, Marcel Björkman was eliminated in 12th place. 2 eliminations later, we were done for the day.
Most of my success has been online, so it'd be nice to be on TV a little bit.
At the top of the chip counts were the Dane Simon Rounsbeck, 795,000, and Italian pro Alessandro Longabordi, close behind with 783,000.
Venice is beautiful.
As the Royal Flush Girls set out on the town for a day of sightseeing and souvenir shopping, the 9 remaining players took their seats in one of the beautifully decorated rooms in the Casino di Venezia, all with hopes of making it through the day and becoming one of the 6 to make the WPT final table.
Just going to continue to play the way I've always played. No fear. If I feel like I have the best hand, I'm just going to put my chips in the middle, and I'd like to make a TV final table. It'd be kind of nice to make one here in Venice.
Despite the amount of money at stake, several players at the table were not shy about putting their chips in the middle. Jason Wheeler, Andrea Dato, Simon Rounsbeck, and Russian amateur player Renat Bogdanov were the first to bang away in their bid to accumulate chips. But ironically, it was the rock at the table, Massimo Moselle, who would be the first to leave as he opened shove with King-Queen into Andrea Datto's Ace-Jack. No help for Massimo, and he was out in 9th place.
A very beautiful tournament. Yes, I'm happy. It's okay.
Soon to follow was online qualifier Jeremy Sauché, as the Russian amateur Renat Bogdanov spiked a king on the turn, cracking Jeremy's pocket jacks.
I'm happy to finish in this place. I am taking home 19k euro, so now I can play more easily, you see.
The lone American left in the tourney was also the short stack, as Jason Wheeler was forced to shove all in, looking for a double up. Unfortunately, his final table dreams came to an end.
Come on time.
As he lost a coin flip with Ace-Queen to Andrea Datto's pocket jacks. After 4 days of poker, 1 Dane, 1 Russian, and 4 Italians survived the field in Venice to make the WPT final table. It would take 1 more day, however, to see who would earn the right to be called a WPT champion. With American Jason Wheeler out in 7th place, that leaves us with a strong Italian contingent at this final table, with the chip leader Andrea Datto the crowd favorite. Mike, you played this event, and now all your chips are out on that table. What can you tell us about the Italians?
Well, I can tell you this, 4 Italians made this final table, so that's pretty good stuff right there. I know a number of the European players really didn't think that much of the Italian players and how they play, but I played this tournament. I didn't find that to be the case at all. I saw a lot of great poker all week long. In fact, I played on day 1 most of the day with the chip leader, Andrea Datto, and I can tell you, he is aggressive and he is a tough player. I also gave a shout out to the guy who busted me in this tournament, another Italian player. His name is Gianluca Trebbi. So it's going to be interesting to me to see if one of these Italians can cross the finish line with the trophy.
And Vince, do you think the Italians have a home court advantage?
Marianella, I don't believe there's such a thing as a home court advantage. I really don't in poker. The Italians, they have pressure on them because sometimes when you're at your home court, you have your friends there and you play a little tighter. You don't want to get busted out early. You're not, going for it. So I think there's a little disadvantage if you ask me. But this field is very tough. Besides Datto, we have a Dane in the field that's made a final table before, and that is Simon Rounsbeck. And he's going to be very tough, so this is going to be fun to watch, guaranteed.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have 4 Italians, a Dane, and a Russian at this final table, but only one of these players will take home over €250,000 and have their name added to the prestigious WPT Champions Cup. Right now, our chip leader, Andrea Datto, is down on the floor with his thoughts on this tough final table.
The thing that I want to all the world players know is that Italy is growing up fastly, and we have many good players, and we'll show what we can do.
A lot of Italian pride there. It sounds like he's ready to take this down. Plenty more to come, including a tour of Venice with the Royal Flush Girls, plus Tony Dunn's no-holds-bar analysis in the Raw Deal. So who will take the title from the Casino di Venezia? Shuffle Up and Deal from Venice, Italy is only moments away, so stick around.
Season 10 of the World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com, where VIP members can win their share of $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the banks of the Grand Canal in Venice, Italy for the WPT Venice Grand Prix. We started 4 days ago. We're now down to our final 6 players, all of whom are ready to take this title. And with me, as always, in the booth, my good buddy, Vince Van Patten.
Oh, man, this is fun. Venice is beautiful, an incredible city, and we have an incredible field here at the final table. Now, the antes are going to be 2,000, blinds 8 and 16,000.
Well, there you see the chip leader, Andrea Datto out of Rome. He's a professional player sitting on $1.3 million. Right behind him is the Dane, Simon Rounsbeck, in 2nd place.
All right, action's going to be on Simon Rounsbeck. This is his 2nd WPT final table. He made the final table in Vienna in season 9.
Yeah, he actually finished 3rd in that event.
He's out.
Next is Andrea Carini, one of 4 Italians at this final table.
He's also going to fold, and now the Russian, Renat Bogdanov, 30 years old, picks up a 9-7.
He's the only non-professional player at the table, works in finance.
Well, he's going to finance his hand because he's just raised it to 33,000. Gianluca out. And now Alessandro Longobardi, 31 years old, out of Naples, not going to play it.
So round to the big blind, the chip leader, Andrea Datto. He looks down at ace-queen.
Yeah, pretty strong.
Well, most players as chip leaders in this spot would probably just 3-bet right here, but see what he's going to do.
Nope. Just going to walk the dog, just going to call the Russian.
Well, taking the conservative route here on hand number 1. Comes a flop. King 8-4.
Helps neither player. Andre Dotto going to quickly check, and let's see if the Russian makes the continuation bet with 9 high. He's getting chips out.
Well, he is doing it, man.
Yeah.
This is first ever WPT event. Only been playing poker 3 years, but he has come to play.
45,000 with nothing. But Dotto's got to be stubborn. He's going to stick around with his ace high.
Thinks the ace high might be good, and it is. Board pairs 8s.
Dotto not hitting there. He's checking again.
Now the Russian checks right behind him this time.
Can't blame him. He's slowing down. River card coming up. It's a queen. Good for Dotto.
Dotto's got to believe he's got the best hand right now after his opponent checked on the turn.
And he's coming out to bet 45,000 like he should. Now the 30-year-old out of Saratov, Russia.
Look at this, Vince.
He's only been playing poker for 3 years, but what is he doing here?
Most people would have just quickly mucked that hand. He is getting out raising chips.
Certainly is, Mike.
But it's just the min raise, Vince. He's bet 90,000.
That is scary.
Now with that raise, there's over 300,000 in the pot. Only going to cost Dotto 45,000 to call. He's a huge chip leader, so.
That move is so bad, it actually could be good.
Well,
I can't believe this.
Can't
Will it
possibly
work,
lay this down for 45,000.
No, you wouldn't think. Oh boy, he's going to do it. He's laid it down.
Unbelievable. Oh, the Italian got a little spaghetti in his face right there for sure.
Oh boy, the Russian skins the fur for the first time tonight, and look at the crowd. They're stunned by this.
Well, they're really going to be stunned when they see the cards. How that hand was played.
The next hand, a quick fold by Carini, and here's the star of the moment.
That's the first hand of the final table. Can you imagine how many Americans are coming to Italy to play this event next year?
All right, well, he gets out of the way. He's got to feel so good about himself. And right now, Gianluca not going to play this hand.
That's the guy that broke me in this tournament.
You're bitter, aren't you?
No.
All right, Alessandro also out. And now it's around to the chip leader.
It's aces. I know it. You always know it. You always have aces.
Andrea Dotto, and he picks up another good hand.
I always hope I have aces.
This time he's got ace-jack of hearts here. Eating a small blind. These two guys in the blinds here are the most experienced players at the table. Both have made a WPT final table before.
He is going to raise it to 50,000, but right behind him, the Danish player, Roundsbeck, with an ace-10.
Could get in trouble here. A lot of guys might 3-bet with this hand against a small blind. Maybe lucky for him, he did not. Simon going to take the conservative route. Just calling here, so we're going to have a flop.
Ace-jack up against ace-10. Here we go.
Oh, and it's come king, queen, 5. Dotto has flopped a royal flush draw.
Is that all? Unreal. And he's coming out to make the continuation bet in Italy. Yes, 55,000.
Well, Roundsbeck, of course, has the ace-high straight draw. He's looking for a jack. And he makes the call.
Okay, going to the turn.
The deuce of hearts comes off. The nut flush for Dotto here. The best hand possible.
Just a beautiful card. And look at this man. Good poker face. So excited you have to be, having the nuts at this point.
I played with this guy most of the day on day one. Pretty impressive player, but I got to tell you, he was a very slow player. Very methodical. Took his time on every decision.
Stuck 70,000 in with the nuts at this point, and uh-oh. Simon Roundsbeck with the scarf. See, you just don't wear scarves like that in the U.S. You have to be in Europe to do that. He's going to re-raise, Mike, with nothing.
Wow. This could spell doom for the Dane.
Oh, boy. And Dotto can't believe it.
And he's just calling here.
Oh, yeah. Just okie dokie him. Hopefully he'll make even more money. Down to the river we go.
Ace of clubs comes off. Well, Dotto's going to check here.
So now Roundsbeck has got to think maybe he's good with his ace. Who knows?
And he's got a hand now he can check down here. He was bluffing on the turn. Now he has 2 aces.
I check.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to check it down. Lucky for him. That's good. Rounds back, has to be humiliated, tries to chuckle it off.
Oh boy, he's got to feel like that scarf is just choking him right now a little bit after that play.
Well, he had imagination, but that time didn't work out. Dotto extends his chip lead.
Our own Tony Dunst has played poker around the globe, and no matter where the game is played, he calls it like he sees it. Let's hear what he has to say on this edition of The Raw Deal.
Andrea Dotto is the chip leader at this final table, and a great portion of those chips came from Marcel Björkman. Excuse me, Björkman, a young Norwegian player that led for the bulk of the WPT Venice Grand Prix, but fizzled down the stretch and busted in 12th place. Marcel is what people in this industry call made for TV. He speaks often during hands, but rarely without annoyance or condescension in his voice.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so good.
He's fashion conscious enough to wear trendy sunglasses and bracelets, but hygiene oblivious enough to leave the unibrow unshaven. And he's ostensibly relaxed after days of constant massage, but actually incredibly tense and prone to threats of violence.
Dude, I want to punch him face right now.
What caused paradoxical Marcel to lash out after days on top? Let's break it down. When the tournament combined to 2 final tables of 18 players, Marcel Björkman was chip leader with about 650,000 in chips. In the first major hand he played at his new table, he got ace-4 all-in pre-flop against queens and lost, knocking him down to about 460,000. It was with that stack that he played a major pot against soon-to-be final tableist Andrea Dotto, who held 420,000 himself. The flop came queen of clubs, 8 of hearts, 7 of spades, and Andrea bet 15,000. Marcel raised to 44,000, causing Andrea to call. The turn brought the rainbow completing 8 of diamonds, and Marcel fired 64,000, leading to another call from Andrea. The river was a harmless-looking 4 of hearts, and Marcel now bet 82,000. The river barrel put Andrea deep in the tank. Marcel had already made it clear he has minimal patience for the time people spend in the tank, and after a few minutes, he called the clock on Andrea. This caused Andrea to immediately announce call, and Marcel to declare that he has 9 high, with a 9-5 suited that never made its gut shot straight draw. Andrea then shows his pocket 7s, making a full house. Why did it take so long to call? Because Andrea was almost certainly thinking about raising, but decided that the likeliest holdings for Marcel to take that line with were busted draws and monster hands that were better than 7s full, such as 8-7 or 8-8, and that there might not be any worse hands in Marcel's range that call a river raise. Unfortunately for Andrea, Marcel thinks Andrea simply intended to put a vicious slow roll on him.
Nice slow roll. Thank you.
I was thinking about raising.
Great clap.
I was thinking about raising.
Serious? Of course, Andrea professes his innocence, and I entirely believe him. But I gotta say, even if he's guilty, I sure as hell wouldn't blame him.
Well, Tony bringing the hammer down the Norwegian there. Vince, I'm not even sure the Italians know what a slow roll is.
Well, a little trouble in paradise, even here in Venice. What are you gonna do?
It's time for a short break, but we'll be right back with more action, including a tour of Venice with the Royal Flush Girls when we return on the World Poker Tour. Brought to you by ClubWPT.com.
My favorite Club WPT VIP benefit is the Entertainment Savers Guide, which offers hundreds of dollars in discounts. And remember, you can also win your share of more than $100,000 in monthly cash and prizes. Join today at ClubWPT.com.
I'm Danielle, one of the Royal Flush Girls. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour.
We are in Venice, Italy for the Venice Grand Prix. I'm with Steve Marsh. Steve was a qualifier on ClubWPT.com, beat out, I don't know, thousands of players to win his trip over here to Venice. Steve, tell us a little bit about what it feels like to be in Venice, Italy, playing in a WPT event.
It's beyond my wildest dreams, knowing that you could change your life with a win or even on the final table. I love it. Everybody loves that feeling, right? Still here. Great experience. I got to meet Tony G. He was always fun to hang around. He really is. I got a friend. He says if you get a chance to knock out Phil Hepworth or Tony G, you take advantage of it. There's a party for the players and go out and have a good time. WPT has treated me like family. And it's been an experience that I'll remember for a lifetime for sure.
Steve Marsh thoroughly enjoyed the experience, just like you would do Perhaps if you join ClubWPT.com, you might win an entry into a WPT championship event somewhere around the world as well. Give it a try. WPT.com.
Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
Give it to them. ClubWPT.com.
Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
There it is. Now the winner of this tournament not only gets his name engraved on the WPT Champions Cup, along with the other legends of the World Poker Tour, but he also gets that coveted entry in the WPT World Championship at Bellagio at the end of the season, where he can make millions more.
And right now we have a $3,000 ante, and the blinds are 10 and 20,000.
Current chip leader Andrea Dato from Rome got 1.7 million in chips. In second place, the Russian Bogdanov with 925,000. The short stack right now, Gianluca Trebbi with just about 300,000.
And right now, Alessandro Longobardi from Naples, Italy, picks up an ace-9 of hearts. He's first to play.
He is going to raise it, makes it 42,000 to go.
Dato going out, and now it's on the Dane. Simon Rounsbeck with the scarf and a queen 7.
Well, certainly not much of a hand here, but he's going to raise with it.
Wow.
The scarf going to work on him here.
91,000 to go. Barini out. Now the Russian, Renat, 30 years old. First WPT event. Only played poker for 3 years. He's going away.
Now Gianluca Trebbi, pro out of Italy. He folds as well. Back around to Vince Lombardi. I mean, Alessandro Longobardi.
Says his former job was a sports bettor.
I can tell you one thing. When you get re-raised and you just look down at an ace-9, you're not liking it too much, especially out of position. But Longobardi going to make the call here.
All right, he's into action. Queen 7, opposite. Ace-9, we're flopping.
Now comes ace-king deuce. Longobardi out in front now with the 2 aces. But let's see how it develops.
Well, he is going to check here with his aces, throwing the rope to the scarf.
Well, the Dane highly influenced by Gus Hansen, the winningest player in the history of the WPT, who plays very aggressive, and obviously this Dane playing aggressive as well.
Now 53,000. Into Alessandro, who has a top pair 9 kicker, and he's going to make the call, of course.
The Italian going nowhere after flopping top pair. Now an 8 comes on the turn.
Helps neither player. Again, a check by Alessandro.
You have about 350 left?
Well, the Dane asking him how much he's got left. Will he fire another shell? That's the question. 3-bet before the flop, bet on the flop, but he's been called all the way so far. How long will he continue with this charade? Well, he's going to try it again.
116,000.
Got to give him credit for having some heart, as we say.
Money.
But the Italian showing more heart as he moves all in with an ace-9 here. Oh, look at this, Vince, showing him the 9. Ooh, that's just a little Italian jab, isn't it, to the Dane? Who do you think you're messing with here?
So the Dane taking his hit there. He tried hard, but Alessandro taking down that pot nicely.
The WPT Player of the Year race continues here in Venice. No matter who wins this event, Legends of Poker champ Will the Thrill Fiella will still hold on to his lead with 1,650 points. As always, we will continue to track the standings all season long, so be sure to check back with us each week. In the meantime, let's get back to the game with Mike and Vince.
Well, Vince, you know how great it is to have Marinella here this week while Kimberly's out on maternity leave.
Oh, yeah. She's been great for us because she speaks Italian. She got to pronounce all the sauces here at the restaurants correctly, so we didn't look like the yahoos that we are, the ugly Americans. Oh, it's been fun. Back to this hand. Quick fold by Dato. Rounsbeck now.
This time he's got a real hand. He's got ace-queen. Certainly going to pop it up with that. Makes it 42,000 to go.
It does. Karina out. Renat now with an attractive king-jack of spades. He's got the button.
He also knows the guy just bluffed his money off in the last pot. Might be steaming here. So another reason to play. And indeed he does. Makes the call.
And Gianluca is folding another hand. Very tight player. He's a businessman from Florence, Italy. Now it's around to Alessandro. He's got a nothing hand. He won't compete.
All right, here we go. Here comes the flop. Flop comes 8-8-5.
2 spades. That is beautiful there for Renat.
Well, Simon going to make the continuation bet here. 41,000. I don't see the Russian going anywhere with a flush draw. Nope, he has made the call.
Hoping to catch a flush. Here comes the turn, but he catches his kings.
He now has kings up and a flush draw.
Rounds back with nothing, finally slowing down with a check. And Renat feeling comfortable. Getting chips out. Ready to plunge. Yep.
He's going to bet 70,000 here.
Simon with just ace high.
What's he going to do?
He likes to play cards. Boy, this guy is very loose, aggressive, just feels he has an edge in every hand. He doesn't.
He's making the call here,
He
man.
is. What is
Thinks
this
the queen
about?
might be the best hand. He's just hoping his opponent is on some type of drawing hand, a straight draw or a flush draw. And if he was on a drawing hand, he's made the draw as a 4 spade comes off. He would have made the straight, the flush, anything he was drawing at.
The Dane is going to check again, and now Renat realizes he's got a flush. Oh, things are good. And the Russian, who looks a little like Ricky Schroeder if he hung out in Siberia for 10 years, is going to bet it 160,000.
Well, Ransbach's got to realize he can beat nothing now, so he gives up the pot, and the Russian takes down another one.
Renat has only been playing poker for 3 years. It's pretty amazing.
First WPT event ever.
And tonight he has a shot at big money here in Venice.
Russian players, I think, very tight and cold, smart, mostly good players.
That's going to make Alice Kuzmin the champion.
All in. All in. My style is aggressive and tight, 50-50. I always change with my style, depending on the table. I very feel good. I relax and playing good. I think I'm playing very aggressive and keep trying laughing. Thank you. I want to win trophy and bring him to Moscow, my home, and show my friends and everybody.
Well, the Russian players are very good poker players. I agree with that.
Well, they are hungry players. They have a great desire to win, of course, and he is tough here tonight. Back to the felt we go. Quick fold by Alessandro. And now Dato picking up pair of 8s. He looks like one of those young Shakespearean actors, doesn't he? With the goatee and the whole look, like he runs the place. Well, he has raised to 50,000. Rounds back out. Now Carini from Milan, Italy. First WPT event, first final table, of course.
All in.
And he's saying all in with a short stack.
Well, he's on the button here.
Got ace-3.
On the short stack, just making a move here. First hand he's played.
Renat gonna junk his hand. Gianluca folds.
60 colla.
And Dato's he's gonna fold her. I mean a cola. I'm mixed up.
Well, he can well afford to make this call as chip leader here. He does so, and he's in good shape to win this pot and knock out the young Italian pro.
He is.
So Carini, who's a former cook, could get fried right here if he doesn't get some help.
Carini on the ropes. Here's the flop.
Now flop 10-7-5, so the 2-8 still out front.
Carini in trouble here. Dato out in front. Here comes the turn card. Can he pull off an ace here? Nope.
Well, a deuce comes off.
He's got a straight draw, inside straight draw.
Needs an ace or a 4 to win this pot. 2-8s out in front right now.
Down to the river we go.
The youngest player at the table could be taking a hiatus if he don't get help, and he doesn't as the jack comes off. So that's going to do it for the young Italian, Andrea Carini, from Piacenza, Italy, out tonight in 6th place.
Yeah, a gentleman, a smile, but it is arrivederci for Carini as he walks away in 6th place. Going to take home 32,000 euros. What an effort.
Well, Vince, he knows that Dato is a very aggressive player, so he just decided to come over the top, move all in, and hoped that he had one of the hands that he usually has when he raises. This time he had 2 8s made the call, the 8 stood up, and that does it for the young Italian, Andrea Carini.
Well, this was Andrea Carini's first WPT event, and he did make it to the final table, which is no easy feat. So with Andrea Carini out in 6th place, we are down to 5 players at the WPT Venice Grand Prix. We'll return to action here at the Casino di Venezia in just a moment.
We're here in Venice, Italy, in the most gorgeous town with so much water everywhere.
My name is Tuba, and I'm one of the Royal Flush Girls. I was born and raised in Turkey. It's great to be one of the Royal Flush Girls because I get to travel all over the world. Venice is truly great, a beautiful place to be. When I first arrived, us girls just, looking at each other thinking, wow, is this like real? People were amazingly nice and sweet. Everywhere you looked, every corner was something to see and something to remember. Seeing and being in the San Marcos Square was an amazing experience. We took a boat ride to Murana Island, where we got to experience the Murana Glass Factory. And being on a gondola and do the riding and having this amazing guy behind us really serenading. Is this really happening right now? It was a really neat thing to experience.
It's an amazing trip.
Was that my imagination, or was that Kenneth James rowing that gondola?
Well, he can sing as good as that guy, I guarantee you that. There you see our chip leader, Andrea Dato, with over 2 million in chips. The Russian in 2nd place, and right now the Dane on the short stack in 5th place. 5 players left fighting it out for this title.
Action first. The man from Florence, Italy, Gianluca, he folds, and now on to Alessandro, who has picked up a big hand, pair of 10s.
He will not be folding.
Andes are up to 4,000 blinds at 12 and 24 right now. And he is going to raise it, makes it 50,000 to go.
Chip leader looks down at Queen Jack of Hearts on the button.
Dato with a seductive hand, and he's just going to call it. And now it's on to the Dane, who looks at the weapons of mass destruction, the pair of aces, and what a time to get it.
Well, unbelievable. Roundsbeck is just making move after move. Nothing's worked for him so far at this final table. Now he's picked up 2 aces. I expect he'll just be moving in. He's on the short stack at this table. 2 other players already in the pot.
All in.
There he goes, all in, he says. Now the Russian gets out of the way. Pretty automatic call here, you would think, for Alessandro with the 10s.
All in.
Yep.
All in.
Alessandro is all in.
Well, he goes all in as well, just to shut Dato out of the pot. And he is not going to like what he sees as Roundsbeck turns up 2 aces. He is dominated.
Well, Roundsbeck, so aggressive, but he usually has no hand. This time, he's got a real hand, Mike.
Now, it's not only pair over pair, it's suit over suit. Can't make a flush to win the pot. Flop come Jack 8-3 here. 2 aces well out in front.
Very solid for the man with the scarf.
In case he loses his pot, he could take that scarf and tie it up around one of the rafters and just say, why go on?
Aces in front. Here comes the turn card.
6 of diamonds comes off, so.
Ace is still out in front, Mike.
Let's see the turn
And
now.
Roundsbeck is still safe to the river. He looks happy.
Well, he is happy. Knows his opponent's got a 2-outer, as we say. Must catch a 10 on the river.
One more card to sweat, river card. Let's take a peek.
Well, it's a queen. So there you go. That's the hand Simon's been waiting on to get back in the thick of things. He is feeling good right now.
And Mike, he never had to sweat it. It's like one of those flops that look good.
forget
The
about
turn
it.
looked
You
good.
always sweat it.
The river was fine. I mean, that's the way to have hands hold up.
Well, if he didn't raise flop, he'd have lost that hand. His Dato would have made queens and jacks, but obviously everybody's going to move all in with the aces there.
All right, back to the felt, a quick fold by Alessandro, and now Dato. Oh, he's got a pair of 8s.
Now, this hand was good to him earlier as he busted the young Italian with these 2 8s. So certainly going to raise it up here, makes it 50,000 to go.
Roundsbeck with the button, and he's got a pretty good ace-queen here. Coming off the last hand, he's going to re-raise, makes it 127 to go.
He 3-bets with the ace-queen this time.
Ricky Schroeder, Renat now peeks down at an awful 5 and 10. Releases that. Gianluca hasn't played a hand since.
He hadn't had a hand yet at this final table.
Nope, it's been a long time.
I'm all in.
Back on Simon, and he goes all in.
Call.
Andrea going all in and called.
Good luck, man.
Well, we're in a classic race situation. It's the under pair versus the 2 overcards. The 2 8s were lucky for Andrea a minute ago when he eliminated his fellow Italian. Can he eliminate the Dane here with the 2 8s as well?
Simon going with the ace-queen. The Dane on a little rush right now.
Well, this is a monster pot right here. Whoever wins it will be the big chip leader at this final table.
Okay, 5 cards to come. The first 3 coming up in the House of Pain here in Venice. Oh,
the
boy.
queen right on the flop.
Look at this, the Dane hitting the queens.
Well, a dream flop right there for Roundsbeck. So Dato has 1 out only, the 8 of clubs. That's all that will win it for him.
Let's have a heart.
Roundsbeck feeling it, knowing it, doing his little Danish dance.
Well, just that quickly, you could go from last place to first place at this final table.
Deuce pairs the board on the turn.
And why is wincing about that
I don't know
card?
why either. But he's European, they can do that.
Nope. Only card he has to wince at is the 8 of clubs.
All right, here we go. Last card coming up.
It's a 5. So Simon doubling up yet again. Vince, the guy came into the final table in 2nd chip position. He'd whittle his way down to where he was in 5th place. Now he's battled back. He's doubled up in 2 consecutive pots. And he is now the chip leader at this final table.
With that hand, we are concluding our first hour of coverage from the WPT Venice Grand Prix. But before we go, Mike, Vince, tell us what we can expect to see as action continues.
Well, Marinella, the 2 big stories so far at this final table is A, the youngest player at the table, 26-year-old Andrea Carini, out in 6th place. But B, the guy that many thought was the favorite to win this final table, the Dane, Simon Roundsbeck. He started the day in 2nd chip position, was down to the short stack, but just doubled up twice to take the chip lead. But the guy who came to the final table as the chip leader, Andrea Dato, is now in 2nd chip position. So I look for him and Simon to continue their aggressive play and just take control of this table.
Plus, Mike, other than Dato, there are still 2 other paisans left at this final table. Gianluca Trebbi. Now, this guy is tight. He hasn't played a hand since Mount Vesuvius erupted. And we have Alessandro Longobardi. But don't forget about the Russian, Renat. He has been biding his time, playing tricky poker with nothing hands. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're in a beautiful room, and it's a tough 5 guys remaining. This is going to be interesting.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back next time from Venice, Italy for more on WPT Season 10 and the WPT Venice Grand Prix. Until then, from Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten, Tony Dunst, the Royal Flush Girls, and the whole WPT team, I'm Marianella Pereira saying thanks for watching. Good night.
I don't understand what this is for here. The World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
From the banks of the famous Grand Canal in the oldest casino in the world, the battle to be a World Poker Tour champion rages on at the WPT Venice Grand Prix, only on the WPT.
Well, the crowd all standing.
He is circling the drain.
They are going bare knuckles in the center of the ring.
He would love to knock this loudmouth out.
Welcome back to our in-depth coverage of the WPT Venice Grand Prix. I'm Marianella Pereira, sitting in for Kimberly Lansing, who is on maternity leave. Tonight we are coming from what is thought to be the oldest operating gaming establishment on the planet, the beautiful Casino di Venezia, a Venetian palace built in 1638 that was once the home of composer Richard Wagner, and is now the setting for a little bit more history, this exciting final table of the WPT Venice Grand Prix. With me here in Italy is Hall of Famer Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten. Guys, what are your thoughts?
Well, Marinella, it is great to be in Venice, land of the gondolas. We've got 5 players left fighting it out for this table. 1 player's been eliminated so far, 26-year-old Andrea Carini. But the big talk here is the guy that came to the final table in 2nd chip position, one many felt would win this title,
Simon Roundsbeck from Denmark. He's been on a roller coaster ride. At one point, he was the short stack at the table, but after doubling up twice, he's now the chip leader.
Well, Marianella, what I'm expecting to see is lots of blood, sweat, and tears in this beautiful Venetian palace. We still have 3 Italians left. We have Andrea Dato, the crowd favorite. He's a very aggressive player, and he is going to be tough. Then there's Alessandro Longobardi and Gianluca Trebbi. He's been playing pretty tight, but these 2 guys are on the short stack, so they have to make the moves real soon. But don't forget about the Russian, Renat. He's a very dangerous, tricky player. We saw him take down a pot with 9 high, so I hope we'll be seeing some more moves like that from him tonight. The blinds are going up, so it's going to put the pressure on the guys. They're going to be playing a little desperate. Should be fascinating. They're playing for big money and a big title. But my prediction is Simon, because of the lucky scarf. We will see.
Well, I'm taking Andrea Dato.
Mike, I will have you know you have just gained a ton of new Italian fans. Thank you, guys. Our eyes are on the WPT's Champions Cup that will soon be engraved with the winner of tonight's event. Action is about to start back up, so let's check the chip count and get back to the game.
Well, there you see the Dane Simon Roundsbeck out in front with 1.6 million. The Italian Andrea Dato in second place, and the Russian Bogdanov in third place right now. 3 Italians, a Russian, and a Dane fighting it out for this title.
All right, action going to Dato. Looks like one of those Shakespearean actors. Fine player. He's going to quickly fold. And now the man from Denmark, Simon, who plays a lot of hands. This time he has a junky 9 deuce.
A big influence on his poker career was Gus Hansen, and we know he likes to play a lot of pots. So does this Dane right here.
He's made it 49,000 with nothing. The Russian goes away. And now Gianluca Trebbi.
Well, this is the guy that broke me in this tournament.
He's got an ace-6, but he won't play that. Now the man from Naples, Alessandro Longobardi with a real hand. Pair of 7s. Nice solid mid-pair.
Well, he's on the short stack here. Only got about 300,000. And he's going all in with the 2 7s. Can't blame him.
How much is it?
How much is it?
It's going to be about another 240,000.
You think too much for a man that has just a 9 deuce. But he's a madman.
I call.
He's going to call it.
Well, just incredible to me. You'd put 240,000 more in there on a 9 deuce.
Oh, the scarf makes you do funny things sometimes.
Vince, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When you get eliminated at a final table and your opponent has a 9 deuce, you go straight to the bar.
Well, we'll see what happens. Here comes the flop. So far, so good. King 10, 5, the 7s out in front.
And Longobardi liking it at the moment.
Double up possibility for Alessandro. Here's the turn.
Well, an ace comes off. So now we are down to the river. Simon must catch a 9 to eliminate Alessandro right here, right now.
The Dane, the chip leader, could be giving some chips back.
Well, this would be absolutely brutal for the Italian if a 9 peeled off right now.
Let's take a look at the river. Crowd on its feet. Here we go.
Well, it's an ace.
And the ace pairs the board. Alessandro doubling up.
I knew I was going to call. I thought he had more.
Well, Vance, I'm still puzzled how Roundsbeck could have put his money in the pot there and called him with that hand. I can see you moving in with a 9 deuce, but to call a guy who's moved in on you, wow.
He's Danish. He's plays Gus Hansen poker. Sometimes it works. That time it didn't. Back to this hand. Back on Roundsbeck. And this time, a suited connector, 7-8 he raises with, makes it 49,000 to go. Renat also with a suited connector, a 9-10 of spades.
Yeah. He's got the kind of hand you like to see a flop with. He makes the call.
Yeah, he's only been playing poker for 3 years. Renat has. Now Gianluca, who's tighter than an Italian taxi cab, folds his hand. On to Alessandro. He's got a 10-jack.
Well, he lays it down and we're around to the big blind. Dato, he picks up a 7-8 suited also. And he's going to make the call. So we're going to have 3-way action here. 2 guys have the same hand, a 7-8. The Russian doesn't know how good a shape he's in right now with 10 high.
Very rare we see 3 suited connectors go after each other.
And flop comes ace, king, jack. No help for anybody.
Nope. And Dato will check first. And now it's on the Dane.
It's the kind of flop that whoever bets at it's probably going to win it.
Oh, boy, there's power in that there scarf. He's getting chips out again. To make the continuation bet with that board, he's going to bet 57,000.
Well, that is playing the game, as we say, and it's paid off for him here as he takes down that pot by being aggressive.
Boy, he boldly goes where no man goes before. Very aggressive player. This guy is the real thing.
People would probably describe me as a loose maniac, I think, but hopefully a good player. I try to gain respect at the table so they don't want to play with me. This is my second WPT final table. My first was in Vienna last year,
I think that's a great bet by Simon here.
where I finished third. So I tried it before, but it's still kind of special. I mean, the last couple of days I woke up pretty early, couldn't sleep anymore. I guess it's because of the excitement. Mike and Vince is here. The WPT was the first televised poker show in Denmark where we all learned the game and saw how Gus Hansen did many years ago. So it was kind of like what introduced me to poker. So it's kind of special to be here.
Well, as he said, Gus Hansen played a big influence on his poker game, and I think this guy plays way more pots than Gus. I never thought I'd say that.
Well, there's Gus back in the day. You know, it's like watching a guy jump off the Brooklyn Bridge and survive, and then everyone's saying, hey, I can do that. Looks so fun. That's the kind of poker he inspired. And right there, you see the Champions Cup. Every champion from the WPT, their names etched on that beautiful trophy. Now let's go back down to the felt. It's on Andrea Dado. A quick fold by him. And now the Dane, Mr. Roundsbeck.
And he's never met a hand he didn't like, Vince. We just saw him calling all in bet with a 9-deuce. Here he's got a Jack-7 offsuit. Fires yet again.
Yep. 49,000. Renat out. Gianluca Trebi.
Really hasn't played a pot yet at this final table.
And this time he's got ace, sevens, and he's going to push.
Well, he's on the short stack. Got to play something, and why not play it against this guy that plays virtually every pot?
Yep, Alessandro folds his hand.
300, right?
3 and 320.
And so it's back to Roundsbeck, who has absolutely nothing, zip and pip.
Well, he winces at the Jack-7.
Now, Gianluca, they say that this man has not smiled since he didn't get the part that Al Pacino got in The Godfather, and I'm beginning to think it's true.
Vince, the guy smiled when he busted me out of this tournament.
Oh, he's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Oh.
It's all right.
A little bitter, are we, Mike?
No, no.
All right, back to the next hand. Here we go. Renat has picked up the ladies. 2 queens. What a hand.
Well, the Russian, the only guy that has a job outside being a professional poker player at this table, works in finance.
Well, Renat has made it 48,000, a fold by Gianluca. And now Alessandro also going out. Dado folding as well. Back around to the loosest guy in Europe.
Now Roundsbeck looking down at the A7 here. Well, he's going to make the call.
Yes, he is.
We thought Gus Hansen liked to play a lot of pots.
Oh, the flop comes up king 9-6. Roundsbeck checks. And so does the Russian.
Wow.
3 of spades on the turn, helps neither player. Roundsbeck with nothing. But look at this, he's going to take a stab.
Well, his opponent checked on the flop, so that's a green light for him to bet on the turn. And he is doing it.
Now 53,000 into the queens. And the Russian hates that king, but
I just can't imagine him throwing 2 queens away against this particular
no,
player.
it's just too pretty. Tough to throw it away, and he does not. He's going to make the call. Simon would love to hit an ace here, but not to be.
Well, a 4 comes off.
Roundsbeck is going to check. He's putting up the white flag.
We're not going to win this pot with 2 queens as he checks behind the Dane.
Well, Renat, the Russian, is going to win that pot. But how impressive is Roundsbeck, the Dane? He has opened up this game to a gambling game. He is the man with the scarf. He's playing no-fear poker. Very impressive.
Opened it up, just putting it mildly, Vince.
Our coverage from the WPT Venice Grand Prix is just getting started. Plenty more to come, including a special edition of WPT on the Road, in which Kimberly Lansing reveals a secret she's been keeping for months. So stick around.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We are at the Casino di Venezia in Venice, Italy. And Mike, this is a good one, but you know what? You don't have to travel all around the world to get a great poker experience. We have a player that made his way through ClubWPT.com out here to Venice. He had a great time. We hung out with him.
Yeah, Steve Marsh, just a good old boy from Tennessee. That's what he called himself. He's only been playing on Club WPT a couple months, yet he got on. He won his way to this tournament by winning on ClubWPT.com. Had a great time over here with the Royal Flush Girls and all of us. Steve Marsh had a great time, and so can you. All you have to do is go to your computer at home and sign up for ClubWPT.com. For only $19.95 a month, you too can become a Club WPT VIP member and experience all the benefits that go along with that. In addition, you can play all the poker you want from the comfort of your home.
That's true. You can win cash and prizes. You can also get the Entertainment Savers Guide, the WPT magazine, all of that. It is fantastic.
ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
All right, Mike, we're going back to the felt. The chip leader at this point, Simon Raunsbeck from Denmark, with about 1.4 million.
Okay, action's going to be on Longobardi, one of the 3 Italians still left at this table.
Yeah, 31 years old, second WPT event. How excited he must be. He's going to fold the hand. Andrea Dato, now with a queen jack. Dato's from Rome, and he's going to raise, makes it 50,000 into Raunsbeck.
Well, he looks down at the 8-4 spades. And he is an extremely aggressive player, a gambling-style player, that's for sure.
Very rarely out of a pot. Just amazing.
Look at this, Vince.
Hands he plays.
Raising
No,
chips.
no.
Yes, he is going to 3-bet with this hand. He's got the 8-4, and he fires it up to 126,000.
Incredible. Now, Renat from Russia with ace high, elects to fold. Gianluca, now with a nothing hand, dismisses himself.
It's back on Andrea, and he goes out, so the aggressive play by the Dane paying off for him right there. We thought Gus Hansen plays a lot of pot. Raunsbeck plays more.
And Dato looking a little annoyed at the man on his left, the gambling style Dane. Second time at a WPT final table, and they're the beautiful Royal Flush Girls who have enjoyed this week in Venice.
And this beautiful casino that we're playing in tonight.
All right. Back to the hand, Gianluca from Florence, Italy.
Yeah, Worsley hasn't picked up any hands at this table.
No.
So 10-3 here throws it away.
Alessandro with a 9-5. Dolly Parton goes out.
So over to Andrea Dato, the Italian pro, looks down at King-9 on the button.
Well, it's nice when people fold in front of you. You think maybe you can pick up a steal here. Decent hand, and he's going to raise with a 50,000. Raunsbeck finally folding a hand. Takes a breather.
Well, the Russian looks at an ace-4.
Raise.
And he has the good instincts, and he's going to raise with it. Makes it 125 to go.
He's going to check.
Wow.
I'm surprised he wouldn't make a continuation bet there.
And this is going to give confidence to Dato, even though Dato has nothing.
Dato might be putting him on ace high, going to try to take the pot away here.
Hope he sticks out a bet of 105,000.
The Russian, who let go of the reins, as we say, checked on the flop, gave the Italian an opportunity to pick up that pot, and he did so.
And Dato says, I'll take that with king high.
Well, Dato might be a one to watch here tonight, but Vince, all season long, we've been following 7 ones to watch here on the World Poker Tour. And right now, let's take a look at one of those ones to watch.
I love to grind, but sick degenerate.
I made it to the final table.
I'm a ones to watch, so that should be interesting.
No. I think this year is my year.
I'll win one eventually.
I'm like a nomad. If I stay in the same place for too long, I can't really do anything new or exciting. If I keep hopping around, that's what keeps life interesting.
William Reynolds. William Reynolds is the most adventurous, fearless person.
One of those people that just marches to the beat of his own drum.
He's kind of all over the map.
Flew to Miami, Madrid, London, Guadalajara, Jaco Beach, back to Las Vegas, Costa Rica, up to Vancouver. Since I go to so many locations, it's hard to remember them. By taking all of these pictures, I get to develop a way to recall all of the memories and brilliant scenes that I've witnessed with my own eyes. If it's a storm raging, they're releasing baby turtles into the wild. I'm gonna sit out there the entire time and wait for that perfect shot. I ran into a California condor in Zion National Park. He landed on a perch that must have been like 2,500 feet above the ground. I knew I wasn't leaving until I could get that brilliant photo of the condor like taking off. I hung out there for over an hour and I got that photo.
Your life's a story, and it's up to you to tell it. And I tell it through my camera.
He's the one who's always jumping off the 15-foot cliffs, wanting to dive into the waterfall, wanting to scale the mountains.
We're all given the opportunity to pick the left path, to pick the right path. When I go do something to challenge myself, like climbing a peak, then I write my own path.
He just told me, he's like, Matt, you gotta do what makes you happy, Like, he goes with his feeling. That's unique and cool about him.
But what I like more is just his attitude on life.
There's a lot of first times for everything, and if you're not doing something for the first time, every so often, you're passing up on experiences. Cook, take photos, hike to the top of a mountain, because in poker, you have to have a balanced pre-flop range. I made it to the final table. In life, you need a balanced portfolio of different experiences. This is my life, so I have to decide what I want to do, and it's up to me to basically find my own destiny.
Well, William Reynolds made a WPT final table a year ago, and he is definitely a one to watch both on and off the table.
Of course, he did not play Venice. I heard he was swimming with piranhas in the Amazon instead. But I'm sure he'll be back with us soon.
Well, he'll take pictures for us.
All right, back at the table. Renat Bogdanov. This time he's got a queen nine. He'll muck that. Gianluca Trebi.
Gianluca looks down at 10-7 of hearts. Also looks at his chip stack, and it's not very deep, so he's going to move all in with this hand.
Yep, he's going to shove with a mediocrity here, of course.
285.
And now next to play is Alessandro, and he's got a pair of jacks.
He'll definitely be going with this.
Molly.
There he goes.
And he moves all in as well.
Dotto and Roundsbeck fold their hands.
So the two short stacks, the two Italians going at it here. And right now, Longobardi way out in front with the two jacks. Trebi in trouble, needs a lot of help to win this pot to stay alive.
Two Italians going mano a mano, hand-to-hand combat. You hate to do that to your Italian paisan, but they have done it. Let's see what happens.
Let's come queen 10 deuce, so we see Trebi getting some of that flop. He's got a pair of 10s.
Yeah, the Spumoni has not melted quite yet.
Looking for a 10 or a 7 now to take the lead. Now 3 comes off, down to the river. Gianluca Trebi, the poker pro out of Italy, must catch a 10 or a 7 to stay alive.
Yep, and Alessandro is just thinking to himself, don't break my heart, Fredo. The river card at 8 of diamonds.
Okay, look.
So that's going to do it for the 32-year-old poker pro out of Pisa, Italy. Gianluca Trebi out in 5th place.
Yeah, a big effort. The crowd loves this guy. He dressed up nicely. He's going to take home 42,000 euros. And we are down to 4 players in the most beautiful casino in the world.
So with Gianluca Trebi out in 5th place, we are getting closer to adding a new name to the WPT Champions Cup. Plenty more to come, including this special edition of WPT on the road. Our coverage brought to you by ClubWPT.com will continue here in Venice, so stick around.
Season 10 of the World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com, where VIP members can win their share of $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Welcome back to Italy and the WPT Grand Prix of Venice. I'm Marianella Pereira, sitting in for Kimberly Lansing while she's on maternity leave. Kim revealed she was going to be a mom for the first time earlier this season at the WPT tournament in Paris, and our cameras were there to capture the moment in this special edition of WPT on the road.
You know, when you're in Paris, you wonder, how does everyone stay in such great shape? They're eating this fattening food. And I realized all of them secretly work out. Being in Paris, I mean, it's croissant after French bread, after pasta, after buttery fish with some sort of thick sauce on it. And wow, it's been amazing. I need to balance this out somehow. Now that I'm going to be having a baby, going out and getting trashed is not on my to-do list for the evening. Because it's my first time, there's a lot that I'm learning, and there's a lot that's happening. There are these 3D places where you can go and they can tell really early. And it's still questionable if it's a girl, but if it's a boy, it's unmistakable. A penis is a penis. So, I'm having a boy. I'm gonna tell Vince and Mike, but I don't know when and I don't know how I'm gonna tell them. Maybe at the final table here in Paris. I have respect for them and I wanted to tell them in person.
I'm Kimberly Lansing saying, watching.
With that kind of news, you just have to come out and say it.
Kimberly!
Bonsoir, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Good show. I'm actually here to tell you some very exciting news.
Yeah?
I'm having a baby.
You're pregnant. Oh! Hey,
Really? No, did you know?
That's fantastic.
Aw,
wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm in shock. It's so great.
Now, very happy for you.
Thank you.
You know, Vince has got 3 kids, of course. I have a 3-year-old myself, but
So
now
you saying
you're
you'll be
joining
good,
the party, so
you
it's
saying
great.
you're going to be good babysitters? Thanks.
What a way to celebrate in Paris. Kimberly's new baby. Oh, it's just great, man. So as you know, there's no greater day in life than when your child is born.
No doubt about it. I would babysit, but I don't. Maybe we should babysit together. You
Oh,
know?
boy.
Help her out.
I'm not sure
once
about
in a
that.
while.
Well, maybe we could play a freeze-up.
All right, back to four-handed poker here in Venice in the most beautiful casino in the world. It was built in the 1600s. It was a palace and now a casino. We're having a good time. Action's going to the Dane, Simon Roundsbeck.
Now, Vince, I know you've been impressed with the number of hands this guy plays. We thought Gus Hansen played a lot of hands, but not sure he can shine this guy's shoes.
And he's going to raise with another junk hand. Jack-8 makes it 60,000 to go. The Russian's out. Alessandro now with an ace high, but he's going to fold it. Only one to beat is Dato. And he will release that hand. The Dane once again taking a pot with just Jack high.
Well, definitely, the Dane has been the most aggressive player at this table. And he'd love to put his name on that WPT Champions Cup alongside his mentor, Gus Hansen.
He'd also be the first person ever to win with the scarf. So that would be interesting. All right, back to the table, Alessandro. He's 31 years old from Naples, Italy.
Looks down at King, Queen of Diamonds. Pretty good hand in a four-handed poker game.
Only his second WPT event, first final table, and he is going to raise with his hand. Makes it 65,000. Dato.
Well, Dato going to give him respect. Folds the ace high.
And now the Dane. He's got Queen 9.
Oh, hark the Herald Angels. He threw a hand away.
Wow, that was incredible. And now the Russian with an ace 8.
Seems like he gets a lot of these ace baby cards. We saw him misplay it the last time he had it. He 3-bet it, didn't make the continuation bet, so this time he's just calling it.
All right, King Queen versus ace 8. Here we go.
Now flop comes 7-5 deuce. No help to either player.
And the Russian will check with his nothing hand.
Longobardi checks right behind him. Surprise there, no continuation bet. Now a 10 comes off.
Now will this give the yielding sign to Renat? Yes, it does. He's going to stick out a bet of 70,000. You show weakness, I'll show strength, he says. Alessandro, what is he up to?
Look at this, the Italian is coming over the top right here with just king high.
Don't mess with him. He's made it 190,000. Just when you think a guy can't play.
Oh, boy. What a move by the Italian here, but will the Russian buy it? That's the question. He only has ace high, and he's going to let it go. So there's a nice play by the Italian Longobardi. No doubt about it. He played that hand like Vince Lombardi coaches football.
Alessandro Longobardi says he loves to travel and play poker. He goes to Vegas a lot. He lists his former job as a sports bettor.
Well, he certainly bet right there, no doubt about it. Nice play by the Italian. Well, there you see the Player of the Year standings. Will the Thrill Fiella still out in front, and will be even after this event. But a long way to go this season to see who becomes the WPT Player of the Year.
Well, Will the Thrill is obviously a terrific player. If he ever gets through his shyness, you know, he might become a big personality in the poker world.
Oh, you're just angry at him because he beat you playing racquetball.
Whoa, you had to bring that up again. Uh-oh. All right, I am. All right, back to the table. The Dane looks down at a Jack-3, just his kind of hand. And, of course, he's going to raise with that junk hand. Makes it 60,000 to go.
Just amazing, this guy.
Renat folding his hand. Alessandro can't compete. And now, Andre Dato has a real hand, king-queen, and he will make the call. This Roundsbeck plays as loose as anyone I've seen. Great instincts to when to take a pot. Flop comes up ace, king, 10. Dato getting a piece of that with the kings, but he's going to check.
He's got two kings and the straight draw, and
Dane's slowing down. He checks as well.
now 5 comes off.
Roundsbeck with nothing. Dato going to trap again. He's checking.
Well, the Dane just can't help himself.
No.
Just can't help himself. Didn't bet the flop. Now all of a sudden he's going to bet when the 5 of clubs comes
And he
up.
probably knows he's being trapped here, too. He doesn't care. He can't resist it. He's going to bet. It looks like 65,000.
Now, Vince, if you're in Dato's seat here, you're saying, look, the guy either slow played a huge hand or he's got nothing here. You're going to call him with 2 kings and a straight draw.
Well, he has called it.
And now the board pairs 5s.
That did not help the Dane.
Dato checks again.
Yep. And now you're tempted. Even though you have Jack high, do you take one more stab at it? Maybe the Italian really does have nothing.
Just incredible.
Oh, boy.
Folks, if you like aggressive poker, don't turn that dial tonight.
He's going to fire again, Mike.
And he has put Dato in the thinking mood.
125. Oh, Gus Hansen would be so proud of you.
Now, Vince, had he bet the flop and the turn and then fired on the river, much more difficult to call. But because he checked on the flop, if you're Dato, you're thinking the guy's either got a monster hand or he's got nothing here.
But the Italian's really looking him over. Underneath that, are you nervous, sir? Oh, it's one thing to think it, though. It's to make the call. I call him. And
he's made the call and he's going to win this pot.
Oh, and I love how the Dane shoots his miserable hand. Doesn't muck it quickly.
He's proud of his bluff. But in the meantime, Andrea